She said, yes, I'm in Slack on my desktop, but seriously unsure how to use it.
Okay, well, just find the number for 12:45 and you can call in.
Oh, stupid thing. I don't know why my...
And it would be under the crafts, right, Carolyn?
Oh, my.
There we are.
Don't forget to set your alarm, your caller ID.
Should be like when they come in, just go, oh, you missed it. That was a good story. Too bad you took so long to get here.
That story was amazing.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I do have a murder story.
We do want to hear it.
Peanut, stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Lay down, old granny.
Okay. I'm going to just send you the
Wonderful.
number, Deanna, too, because I think you emailed me before. Deanna, I'm sending you the number, too, because you emailed me before. Can't stop, won't stop. Okay.
So quiet.
It is.
Very quiet.
I'm just waiting on my cue.
Okay.
I'll be right
How many
back.
people do we... Oh. Now she's
100
leaving.
people watching. We left on about 220.
Oh, come in.
Hi, Tracy.
What?
You would really have to desensitize yourself to do something like that.
Do something like what?
Cleaning up crime scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
You left a lot of people in the ship, Danielle.
She probably got women and children first.
What?
She probably got women and children first.
Probably. It's so quiet, Tracy Claus, because we're trying to hear if we can hear a pin drop. No one got that joke. Scooter.
Trying to find your new one.
Put up the new link in the old chat twice.
I'm just worried about people mistaking me for Sally Ann. They're not going to be able to tell us apart.
Because you guys sound so much alike, right?
I know.
Yeah.
It's uncanny.
Because we got the same accent and everything.
Everything.
You do.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Who's that?
This is Deanna.
Oh, Deanna, the crime scene person.
Hi, Deanna.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm going to be listening. I'm
Hi,
just
Deanna.
muted.
Yeah, we're gonna mute and listen.
Okay, so I work for a company. I don't want to blast the company on here, but I am ABER certified, which is nationwide crime scene cleanup. So this is what I do. Basically, this is what I specialize in. I also do like water, mold, that kind of stuff as well. But crime scene cleanup is my specialty. So, I mean, I could tell you horror stories, but I think like the one that sticks out the most, a couple of years back, there was a brand new hospital in Washington Township, and a guy went in, saw his wife. She was terminal. They would not allow the wife to come home to pass. So he brought a handgun in to the hospital. We don't know how he got past security with it, but he went in there. Him and his wife made a pact, and he wound up shooting her, shooting himself. The bullet went through her, ricocheted up into the ceiling, into the next room, and was found like on a drop ceiling. And I probably arrived at that crime scene. That was the fastest crime scene I've ever arrived to. I was in that room within an hour. So I kind of saw things that normally I don't see. Usually we do not get there that fast because I have to clear the crime scene. The police have to clear it before we're called. So that was pretty intense, and I think that one will stay with me for a while. That's just something that I don't think I'll forget. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, everybody muted so you could tell the story. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. That's gruesome.
I think our saddest ones are when we go and we clean up. We have to clean up after children. I've got children and grandchildren. That's especially hard for us to do. A lot of people think that, yes, we are desensitized. When I go into work, it's like a light switch that I turn off. So I'm not my normal self. I don't think any of the guys that I work with are their normal selves. It is a light switch that you turn off, and you try not to bring that home with you. It just makes us appreciate our families and our kids even more. We do play music. We do ask families, especially relatives, parents, to leave whatever scene we're cleaning. We don't want them there because we do seem very insensitive. We will put music on. We do make jokes. It's not joking at what we're doing, but it's a way for us when we are cleaning to not really take it in as a human being, because we are there to do a job. And our job is to make the family not have to do it, because they're really victimized all over again. First they lose a loved one, and then they have to clean up, then they're dealing with the aftermath. So it's a touchy situation when we deal with families. We do ask them not to be there. We do suit up. I am fully suited from head to toe. And usually it's either a white or a yellow pair of waterproof, chemical proof coveralls. We do duct tape ourselves in 4 or 5 layers of gloves. We do wear full face respirators. I've been in homes that have not had the air conditioner on, where people literally have not been found for weeks to months at a time, and they just bake.
I can't even imagine that. Oh.
So it's we sweat. It's rough on us. Everybody thinks bleach is a solution. Bleach is not the answer. All bleach does is it really just does just that. It bleaches the color out. When people go in and they commit crimes and they use bleach because they think they're cleaning it, all they're really doing is setting it in. Visually, you don't see it, but luminol, when the cops come in, they spray luminol. That luminol is reacting to the iron and the hemoglobin in your blood. So you actually can get a false positive from rust. Rust will actually come up as blood. It's not a be-all, say-all. It's just a tool that the police use to see if there's blood, the possibility of blood, and then they will do a swab, send it to the lab, and then that'll tell them if it's human blood, if it's rust. Peroxide. Peroxide is your best friend. Peroxide is what, if you think there's blood or you know there's blood somewhere, you hit it with a peroxide solution and you spray it on there and it's going to bubble. And where it bubbles, that's where your blood is. Even if you bleach it, you can bleach a bathtub per se 5 times. You spray some peroxide in there and it's going to fizz where that blood was. So peroxide is our best friend. That's how we kind of find the microscopic blood that we don't see. And we are trained. It's a very intense training that we go through, and we are trained just like forensic investigators. When people are shot, we do take pencils and we will follow the path of bullets, because if the bullet went through somebody, it is taking skin tissue, it's taking body parts, it's taking, your insides, and it's traveling with that bullet. My job is to find out where that went and clean that scene up like it never even happened, like we weren't there. It can be intense. Like I said, kids are the worst. They're the hardest. I cleaned up a couple kids, a couple abuse cases where a stepfather beat his girlfriend's son with a TV. The little boy was 3 years old. That was the hardest scene I've ever cleaned. Was that. And then you get teenagers who, shoot themselves in the head with very high caliber weapons. It's not like it is on TV. Shotguns do major damage. High caliber AR-15s do not. They will literally go right through and right out. It's not like TV. Those are our hardest. Some of our hard, and again, everybody's got grandparents. When my grandparents passed, I had to clean up an elderly person who had passed, and it's just hard. You try not to relate. We try to make it easy on ourselves. When I go in, after the family leaves, I usually take pictures that are on refrigerators or on the wall, and we actually will take them down, or we will cover them so that it's not real to us. That we are not putting faces to the scenes that we're cleaning, because then it becomes real. So we do desensitize ourselves. I don't know anybody who does what I do who watches horror movies, because we walk into live horror movies. So we don't watch that kind of thing. We do watch a lot of trials. We do watch a lot of like detective shows, like the New Detective was big a few years ago. We will watch those only because it makes us better at our job. Just seeing different techniques out, and then every 2 years I have to go back to school, and we do what's called a recertification, and that's just for me to brush up on new techniques or new cleaning products that come out, and kind of we get to meet other people who do what we do. it's very hard dating people. I am married, but it is hard in a dating scene when people ask what I do. It's kind of a running joke, you know, hey, I could kill you and I can clean up your body. But it's you know, it's a serious situation. And the way me and my colleagues look at it, somebody has to do this. And we're doing it to help people. We're not doing it because, you know, we like to see blood scenes. It's just, you know, we do it to help everybody else. I do know that women tend to be definitely cleaner when they do commit suicide. Men don't care. Men are the messy ones. Women, I think it's because we all have kids, so you don't want your kids to see and clean up what we do. Men just don't, they seem not to care. The men seem to be, or males, I should say, seem to they just do what they want to do. So, I mean, does anybody have any questions that I can answer?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, because I just went and I'm riding my bike while I'm listening to you, so I went in the other room. No, I don't have any questions, but have you ever, well, I guess I do have a question. Did you, ever get anybody in there that was helping you that just freaked out and couldn't do it anymore?
Yes. So I'm only 5'2", and we had a guy who I worked with who is 6'5", big guy, like a wrestler type. And going through school, he was like, oh, I can't wait to do this. He was so gung ho. I'm like, you know, we try to prepare the new people when they come in, like, this is how it works. And we had a guy come in, and it wasn't even to me, it's not a bad, you know, it wasn't a bad cleanup. Person had fallen off the toilet, just fell randomly and smashed their face into the bathtub. And so the blood was primarily in the bathtub, and he just completely lost it. He went in, saw it, started hyperventilating through his mask, tried to pull his mask off. And we were like, you can't pull it off. Don't pull it off. And he started vomiting inside of his face mask. And we had to completely bring him outside, cut him out of his suit. And he literally, from that, he wound up going in, getting like psychiatric help because of it. So a lot of people think that they can do this. And I tell everybody, anybody can read a book. Anybody can take a test. It's when you get out there in real life and you actually, you know, see it in person. It's a very, very, very different, you know, situation. It's not what people see on TV. Everybody's like, oh, I see it on TV, I can handle it. It's like, this is a whole different animal. This is just totally a different thing.
Right.
So yes, we do have people that freak out. We do have people who just can't handle it. At my job, that this is the only type of job that you can actually opt out of not doing. Everybody is required at my job to do, you know, the different types of restoration that we do, fire damages, water damages, mold damages. You have to do those. Biological cleanups and drug cleanups, you can opt out of. And it's just something that I've excelled at. It's just something that I've taken an interest in, and I'm really good at what I do. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say that it doesn't mentally affect me, because it does. There are days when I come home and I just literally can't face the world. I just get in bed and just kind of sleep, and there are times that I have nightmares and there are times that I don't. But again, this is what I chose to do. So, you know, I look at it like I'm helping people. I try to see the good in what I do, not, you know, the bad in what I do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Scooter, can you see this chat? Because I can't.
I can't see the chat either. I can't. I'm in my bedroom because if I go out, you're going to have really bad feed.
Yes,
so I can't see if anybody's asking me anything.
I'm not seeing any real questions. They're just saying it's really interesting.
Like,
There's somebody wanting to call in. I think it's Amy McCraney. Yeah, Carolyn's not at her computer though for the email. So you could email me and I'll send you the link. I'll put my email in there right now.
so do you guys want me to tell you kind of like the stories about the places that I've cleaned up? Like, are you interested in hearing that and like actually how our, like what my process is, or?
I don't know. I mean, I think Joe B's going to tell a story. So sit tight. And then when she's done, then maybe they'll have their questions and you can do something else.
Okay. Yeah,
You sit
that's
tight.
perfect.
All right.
Okay.
That'll give them time, and I should be done in probably that time. So Joe B, you tell us your murder story.
Okay. So I do have some crime scene experience and stuff too, not as a professional. Of course, you know, being a nurse, you see a lot of gross things. And then when you have your patients pass away, that's hard to deal with. But my late husband was a police officer. And during the time he was a police officer and I was married to him, the sheriff was good friends with my daddy. So he would let me, when it's a small town, so he would let me ride with Chad at night when I wasn't working night shift. So I did go in on a lot of probably the worst crime scene I ever saw was the woman was between a boyfriend and girlfriend. They owned the girlfriend's family owned a huge, expensive restaurant here in the area, and they got in an argument, and she shot him in the head with a shotgun, and that was a horrible, horrible crime scene. But anyway, that's not my story. So I don't have exact dates, but I know the years because I remember it. It happened about 10 houses up the road from where I live now. It was in 1987. I was in the 7th grade. So, oh crap, I just told my age. Okay, anybody that can't count, I'm 29. So, I was in the 7th grade, and I remember one of my teachers. She was standing up there. She was talking about English class, and over the intercom, they called her and said to come to the office. And she went to the office and she came back. Well, I knew this teacher's family. My parents knew her family real well, and because we went to church together. And it's a small town. So she comes back from the office and she's just very, very upset. She's crying. She's shaken. She gathers her stuff up and she says, I have to go. There's something wrong with my aunt. And she leaves. Well, I knew that her aunt was Dolly. Her name was Dolly Gooch. Dolly went to church with us, was friends with my mama, and my uncle owned a restaurant in town for 30 years, and she had worked for my uncle. So Dolly had 2 kids, and her daughter had married this guy that she met. I'm not real clear on how she met him. He wasn't from around here. He was supposedly from Florida. His name is Ricky Harris. Ricky Harris was his name, is his name. He's still alive. He's still in prison. He told Dolly's daughter all these big tales that I think they met through it wasn't online dating because we didn't have computers back in those days. But I think it was some sort of dating service that they met. He told her he owned all this real estate and he was so rich and all this stuff. And she thought he was telling the truth and she married him. Well, come to find out, I mean, it took her just a little while. Dolly knew before the daughter did that he was a fraud. but the daughter kept making excuses of why he couldn't pay any of the bills and why they were having to live with Dolly and why couldn't they buy their own house? Well, his money's tied up in this real estate transaction and he can't get to it. This went on for a while. Once the daughter realized who he was and what he was about, she divorced him. And Dolly helped her to do that. Dolly was a really good woman, good Christian woman, good to everybody, but she saw through this man. So they're going through this divorce, and Dolly was at home alone, and Dolly disappeared. And I remember my daddy and my brother, I remember everybody in the area went searching. I mean, they combed the mountains. This is a very mountainous area. Heather's told you all before that Eastern Tennessee has the big mountains, and it is. It's we're next to the Smoky Mountains in Gatlinburg, and I'm very close to North Carolina. So I remember weeks that people searched, and then it turned to, instead of every single day during the week, it turned to weekends. They would gather up on the weekends. And I remember our church would every few days take a turn in cooking these big meals so that all the people that were out searching could come in and eat. Dolly went missing in September of 1987. Her body was found in, I think it was May of 1988. It was found about, it was in Jonesboro, about 45 minutes away from here. It was out in this big field, and the farmer was out in May, I guess, doing what all you do to the field in May, and he found the skeleton. It was positively identified. At the house, the day she went missing, there were, she had her hair in curlers, and she'd had her robe on, and she had had her house shoes on. So they found one house shoe, I think, in the yard, and they found a couple of loose curlers. So there had been a struggle in the house. Well, everybody right away was pretty sure who was responsible for Dolly disappearing, but this is a small town and murders don't happen that often. So everybody was shocked because, people don't disappear around here. And she had disappeared from September to May. They found all the evidence they needed. I think they might have they found forensic evidence in the trunk of his car, and I'm thinking that they found maybe a hair curler or her house shoe. I don't remember. And then I remember something about her robe tie, the tie that went around her house coat. So the primary witness her mother lived at the bottom of the hill where Dolly lived. And the primary witness I've been friends with for years. She's probably in her early 70s now, but she's in wonderful health, and I've just been really good friends with her for years. She comes to my house, I go to her house. Probably 10 years ago, she told me in detail the whole story and her testimony. And I wish I would have written it down. And I have said in the last 6 months, I bet I've said 10 times, I need to go down to her house and make her tell me again, now that I really am into true crime, because I want to write this all down. She had seen him that day. So where they lived, her mama lived, she just happened to be off work that day because her mama had to go to the doctor. So she was there with her mother, and she had seen across, you could see from where her mama lived, there was a 2-lane road, and across there was an old white building, and then beside of it a garage, like where people bring their cars to get fixed. in that, where that white building was at the time, there was nothing in it. It's been a restaurant and it's been a church, but at that time there was nothing. It was just a big parking lot with that white building. She had seen his car parked over that, across the not the 2-lane road, the 4-lane road. She had seen it cross, his car parked across that 4-lane road earlier in the day, watching, like, he would have had to have binoculars, but he was watching Dolly's house to watch for when Dolly was alone. When he comes to the house, he goes up the road, and out of courtesy, he waves at my friend, and she notices he has gloves on. Well, this was September. It was not cold enough for gloves in September. And he must have realized that he had made that mistake, because after he went up there was a struggle. Dolly went in the trunk. He came back down the hill. My friend was still outside. He stopped and talked to her, and he pulled the car in to where he held both arms out of the car window to make sure she saw that he had taken his gloves off. I guess maybe to wipe out the memory of seeing the gloves when he went up the road. So she testified perfection and all of it. She knew these details because it was all so strange to her that day. Nobody liked him. She was already, everybody was skeptical of him anyway, because there was the divorce. He had not been very pleasant about it. And he was heading up to Dolly's house when he shouldn't have been. And then she sees the gloves. And then he tries to make her unsee the gloves. So she's testified in court. He has been convicted about every 3 or 4 years, or I don't know how often. It seems like 3 or 4 years. It could be 20 for all I know. I'm getting so old. But I will see a notebook at all the gas stations in the area asking for people to sign the petition to prevent Ricky Harris from getting paroled. It ended up, and I can give more details later because I have to look this up. He was a very like playboy kind of suave kind of man. I mean, not to me in the 7th grade, but that was his personality. And he had a lawyer, a female lawyer, who he ended up marrying after he was convicted. So he does come up for parole ever so often, and everybody in the area signs that petition to try to get him to not have parole. I don't know how close he is, but he did, back when the trial was going on, he did threaten my friend, and he told her, if you testify against me, I will kill you when I get out. And she has lived the rest of her life being scared that, what if he gets somebody else to do it? What if he does get parole? He's just an evil man. So anyway, it was 1987. Her body was found in 88. Her name was Dolly Gooch. She was just a precious woman. But you can see there's articles you can look up about it. But she was precious. And it was just like my whole life was entwined in it, because we went to church with her, and her aunt, or her niece, was my teacher, and she worked for my uncle, and it was all entwined in my life. But I remember that so well. I remember my daddy and my brother.
How old did you say Dolly? How old was Dolly, Jill B? I missed that part.
Dolly would have probably been 65 or 70. I can't remember. When you're in the 7th grade, if you're 50, it seems old. But I remember Dolly was older. I cannot remember her age when she died, but I know she was older because her daughter was, grown. Her daughter was probably mid to late 20s and
Right,
married
right.
to this Ricky Harris.
How sad.
It was terribly sad because she was such a precious, just an angel. She loved everybody. And when she worked for Uncle Dino, you know, everybody came in and she just had a smile for everybody that they loved her. She was precious. And I cannot imagine what that poor woman went through that day. I mean, there was
Right.
definitely struggle. And the other strange thing about it is, so later on, after I grew up and went to nursing school and I got into home health, and don't nobody get scared. I'm not telling another gross nursing story. But I had a home health patient and went to the house, and it was Dolly's old house. So I had to make several trips to this house, and I could not, these people didn't know the story. They weren't
Oh,
from
they
around here.
didn't? They didn't know
No,
anything about it?
No, they did not know anything about the story, because I specifically asked them. And well, they didn't know until I told them. Anyway, the woman was one of my patients, and I had to make several trips to the house, and it was just killing me. I couldn't stand it. I had to ask them, do you know that a woman was killed here? Because it was such a big deal in this area. And they were like, what? And I said, oh, never mind. Well, then I done opened my mouth, and so later on they had looked into it. I mean, it didn't bother them. They were okay. You know,
Yeah.
it was it had been remodeled and stuff, but going into that house, every time I went to see this patient, you know, as I walked through the yard, every time I went, I would just picture her hair curlers and her house shoe out there in the yard, and just think about what happened in this room. It was very sad. But the
It
daughter
is.
ended up marrying a doctor, and she's filthy rich and has had a wonderful life.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm thinking that this woman, that Ricky Harris, that Dolly's daughter, I'm thinking she had maybe one child with him. I'm thinking. I'm not positive. I'll look into it, or I'll ask Mama and find out and let you know. But I'm thinking
You're
she
not
had
thinking
one
the
child.
daughter had anything to do with it, are you?
Oh God, no.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, that the daughter, it has haunted her. So I
Okay.
mean, it's killed her that she brought this monster in, and that's
Okay.
what killed her precious mama. No, never.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was angry because Dolly might have even been paying for the divorce, because he told he was a millionaire and ended up he was flat broke and had nothing. I mean, everything he told them about himself was a lie. I don't know if y'all know anybody like that, but it's very
Never heard of anybody doing that.
it's very, very weird to hear somebody tell a whole story and then it not be, none of it be true. But yeah, he did that. I mean, he did it so well, she married him, and come to find out he didn't have a pot to piss in. So
Yeah.
that's my story. I have another older one, but I won't tell it tonight because I got to get in the bed. This one didn't happen when I was alive. It was not part of me, but it's a very interesting story. I like stories that's from older times, and this happened in the 30s. And ended up that 3 little kids were killed. But I'll tell you all the story later. It's very interesting. I remember my papa telling me the story. It's strange. The story sounds like a movie. It really does. It sounds like a movie, but it's good. I'll do that next episode.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Jill B.
You're welcome. If anybody have any questions before I go, because I got to be up for a meeting at 8:00.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that I sound like Ellie Mae Clampett. I can't help it.
You don't
Just
sound like Elle. No, you don't sound like that.
Well, I like how Ellie talked.
Oh.
That was
Well,
cute.
I don't remember. Oh, that's not the grandmother. That's the daughter.
Yeah. She had the
I
critters.
never watched that show. I mean, other
And
people
the-
did. I never watched it. So,
She had the fancy eating table and the cement pond, and
oh,
the fancy eating table was the
Oh,
pool
it was
table, and they
funny.
used the pool sticks to pass the food around.
oh my gosh.
That's what
Oh, I
they
love
thought it
the
was for.
Beverly Hillbillies. Come on.
I didn't watch it. I saw the beginning. I never watched that show,
What show?
Beverly Hillbillies.
Hillbillies.
Oh,
This has been a Film Ways presentation.
Yeah, that I saw like the beginning and the end. I've never watched it really.
You know, Jethro, he ended up when he was after the show, the guy who played Jethro, wasn't he known for having like the world's largest porn collection of porn movies?
I don't know.
Really?
I think he did. I think I'm full of useless facts, but I think he did.
Well,
So
you-
Potter,
Lisa H.
Potter,
can
look
look
that
that
up,
up.
please. Potter, could you look that up?
yeah, you would think I would know that, Jill B. After my
Yeah.
career.
Right.
Well, I thought you might have run into him. I mean, I can't remember what his real name was. Was it
Max
Matt?
Bear. His
Max-
name's Max
yeah,
Bear.
Max.
Bear
Yeah.
Jr.
Yeah.
His
I-
father was a boxer,
Oh. I
a
didn't know
famous
that.
boxer. I
Yep,
do know
the
that.
Beverly Hillbillies and the largest porn collection of movies was what I remember about him. Real stand-up guy. Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, thanks
No.
for letting me come on. I'm got an 8 o'clock meeting that I've got to put a smile on for. So
Okay.
off to bed I go.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Good night.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye.
Okay, Deanna, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, hi. You're still
I'm
here.
here.
She's
Yeah.
still here. So you had
Millie
another
M.
story?
Millie M. She
Yeah.
brought the Beverly Hillbillies up because
Yeah.
the first time she called in and then she hung up and she said, how come nobody ever told me that I sound just like Ellie Mae Clampett? That's why she brought her up.
Uh.
So you guys let me know what type of story or cleanup you want to hear. I mean, I can go into very gory, very horrible ones. I could tell you very simple, easy ones. I can explain the process of what we do, how I do it. You guys let me know what you want to know.
A fancy eating table and such. Yeah.
Scooter.
When she said I
Yeah.
have to get up for an 8 o'clock meeting, what was that? There's something about that. Some fancy, something along that, something with, I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Oh, well. Fancy meeting.
Randy L's got a story there.
Does the chat say what kind they want? I
Ask
can't see it.
Deanna if she has ever gone to a cleanup. Where'd that go? To clean up a crime scene, to realize the police forgot something that you discovered.
Yes. So we did a crime scene cleanup where a gentleman shot a Tech 9, which is I believe it is a semi-automatic weapon that can be converted into a fully automatic weapon, shot through the back door, shot through an actual human being into the wall. A Tech 9 is very sporadic. It's not a very accurate gun. And so when we got there, we were cutting the drywall out as we used the strings and the pencils to figure out the path of the bullet and where bullets are going to go, because sometimes you don't always visually see it. And this happened to go through a couch cushion, into drywall, into a piece of ductwork, and the bullet dropped. And we saw an entry point to the bullet, but never found the exit on the opposite side of that wall. So we went into the crawl space, we took the ductwork apart, and out popped the bullet casing. So we had to call the police. The police came about 45 minutes later, took up 2 hours of our time as we have to explain to them in very great detail how we found it, what our process was. We have to photograph it. They take our statements, and then we could be potentially called as witnesses in a trial. So yes, we actually have done that. And I can't see chat, by the way.
Yeah,
Just so
they're
everybody knows.
saying just, they're saying just tell any story you want to tell is fine. That's what they're saying.
Okay, so the scariest story I have would be of a girl, I believe she was in her early 20s. We got a call from her parents, said that it was a pretty bad scene. I arrived on site in the morning. It was in the middle of the summer. It was in July. And when I pulled up to the house, you can just smell decomposition. It's if nobody has ever smelled it before, it really is a smell that once you do smell it, you will never, ever, ever, for the rest of your life, forget it. You just know when you smell it again, you know exactly what it is. This poor woman had a snow shovel, and she was literally dumping things from inside of the house into a trash can. And I had asked her, I introduced myself, asked her what she was doing, and here she was cleaning up parts of her daughter. She didn't know what to do. She was in shock. So I kind of got a general idea of what I was walking into from her parents. And when I walked in there, I don't think I was fully prepared to see what I saw. Like I said, it was July. It was very hot. The air conditioner was not on. The body was in advanced stages of decomposition. From the front door, you walked into her living room, and you could just see a body trail, which is normally just like a big smear from one side of her living room to the other. They showed me where her body was found. There was blood in the kitchen. There was blood in the bathrooms. There was blood in the bedrooms. From my observation, I definitely knew something. In my gut, knew that this poor girl had been murdered. What the police told the parents was that this girl had mental issues and that this girl did this to herself. I've done enough crime scenes, kind of judge when you're getting told like a BS story, and this is one of those BS stories. We went into her bedroom, which is where the least amount of blood was, and she was found naked with a knife in her heart. But the crazy thing with this story is the story that the mother told is that the daughter was asleep. She got up out of bed. She grabbed a knife. She started stabbing herself. She put that knife down in the bedroom, then walked into the bathroom. There were 3 different knives in the bathroom, which were covered in blood, and just pools and pools of blood. Now, I know you guys are into crime, so you guys know the difference between drip blood, which is something that is being held vertical, and you just get a plop of blood like on the ground, and splatter is when you have a motion, and you'll see the motion, and that's what I saw and observed in the bathroom was a upward motion because of the way it was on the ceilings. This poor girl went out of the bathroom, went down her hallway, through her living room into her kitchen, where she grabbed there was 3 or 4 knives and a pair of scissors in there. And according to the police, this girl was just walking around the house, grabbing sharp objects and just repeatedly stabbing herself, just everywhere. And then she finally, in the living room, that's where she was found she was disemboweled, and the knife was found in her chest, in her heart, from what the mom had told me. Things that you see on TV as far as coroners picking up every piece of a person is totally just that. It is TV. I have, at this particular crime scene, there were pieces of her scalp, her hair. There were entrails, her actual abdominal intestines. And just let me know if I'm getting too graphic and you guys can't handle it. Her intestines were spilled out in the living room, and that's what her mother was cleaning up. So the coroners and the medical examiners do not take every piece of a person, and the cops they don't take anything. They may take tissue samples, they may take blood swabs, but they are not picking up pieces of people and putting them, per se in evidence bags. That does not happen in real life. I felt very bad for these people. When we go in, I use a couple different tools. We do use a black light with they're kind of like a yellowish amber set of glasses, and we can use that to detect blood. Peroxide is my go-to. That is where I find most of what I can't see with my naked eye. And if the police don't use luminol, you also need a special light to see. So if you don't have that light, you're not going to see it. And on the refrigerator, where we actually had to call the police back, we had saw pictures of this girl. This girl was on Facebook. And I kind of knew, you kind of can see from her pictures, I could kind of judge how big this girl was. And this girl didn't have like huge man hands. And on her refrigerator, when we sprayed the peroxide, we were actually getting handprints that were 3 times the size of mine. So it was a very large male handprint that we found a couple spots on the refrigerator. And we found a set of her footprint at the bottom of the refrigerator in the freezer. And to me, again, I've done enough of these to kind of know what a scene is versus somebody like per se telling me. And to me, that showed us cleaning it up that there was another person in that house and that this girl was drugged from the kitchen into the living room with her feet print on this refrigerator. So the police had to come back out. They did fingerprint the refrigerator.
So the girl lived alone?
The girl, yes, she did live alone. Yes. And
Why
her
didn't
neighbor,
they think it was murder? I mean, why didn't they think it was murder? What's their reason?
because the girl had some kind of psychiatric medication. I don't want to say antipsychotic because I don't know what the pills were. And I'd be speaking, in something that I don't know. So she was on under some type of psychiatric care, and they found psychiatric medication in her bathroom. And the neighbors are actually the ones who called the police and her parents because this girl never left her front door open. And they noticed that her front door had been open for 2 or 3 days, and they had seen no movement. They had seen nobody coming in and out of the house, and they had heard nothing. And then they started smelling the smell, and that's when they kind of knew something was up. So that was probably the worst crime scene I've ever cleaned up. And just so you guys know, so sometimes, depending on how your homeowner's insurance is written, sometimes your homeowner's insurance does pay for my services. I do not get called by the police. I will never get called by the police to go to a crime scene to clean it up. That is every homeowner's or business's responsibility. That is not the cops. They're not the ones that call me. The only time I get called from the police is if they have a suspect in their car or at their holding cell being processed, where they either vomit, defecate, are bleeding, if they have hepatitis A, B, or C, if they are AIDS positive, if the police know that that's something that they are going to come in contact, even the ickies, we are doing a lot of ickies cleanings right now. That's when I go out to the police station, but the police are not the ones that call us. It is whoever owns the home or their family members. Those are the people who call us to clean this stuff up. So that was probably that whole scene, and I can tell you, that was like a $50,000 cleanup because I need to say,
Wow.
So what my job is, if you bleed in your home, and this is for anybody, if you bleed in your home and you get blood on your carpet, you have every right. It's your home. You can scrub your carpet. If you call anybody who is American Bio Recovery Certified, who does trauma cleanup. If we come out to your home, we are always going to tell you anything that blood touches, we have to cut out. The only time I can clean anything is if it is on a non-porous surface or if it is a high gloss paint. And the difference and the way I can tell if it is even cleanable is we will take an X-Acto knife and we will cut a little blood spot out and we will peel that paper and that paint back. And if the blood is permeated through to the actual drywall, we have to cut it out. If it doesn't, then I can clean it on a non-porous surface. But carpets, we clean out, we rip out drywall, I rip out beds. I can't even get into how many beds I have ripped apart. I think I have seen every type, make, and model of a mattress. I could probably build one at this point. I'm so schooled in mattresses. So that was probably the worst crime scene that I have ever cleaned up.
Okay, that answered Kevin Leonard's question then, because that's what he had wanted to know. What was your worst crime scene? And then somebody else wants to know who pays the $50,000 or the fee, who pays for that?
Okay, so if you are a victim of a crime, if somebody shoots into your house, if you are murdered in your house, your insurance policy, your homeowner's policy is going to determine that. And that is who paid us to clean up this crime scene. People think that I make a gazillion dollars doing this. I don't. I literally, and I'm not ashamed to put this out there, I literally made $26 an hour. And it doesn't matter what I do. If that's a water job, it's a water job. If it's mold, if it's a fire, if it's a crime scene, I make the exact same amount of money. The thing that drives bio cleanup through the roof is going to be your disposal fees. So that out of that $50,000, $30,000 of that money was for us to have the bio waste incinerated. So I clean up needles, I clean up medical waste, I clean up blood, feces. Anything that comes in or out of your body is considered a biohazard. I have no idea if you have hepatitis A, B, or C. I have got to protect myself and the environment and the people coming into those homes after us. I have to be able to protect that. Now, if you guys cleaned up, if you had something like that happen to a family member, you could cut that carpet out and you could cut that wall out and you guys are legally allowed to throw that in your normal trash. If I come out to your home, I have to, by law, because I am certified to do this, I am trained to do this, I legally have to have it incinerated. I do not have that option. So that is what really drives that price up. It's about $250 for us to dispose of one box of bio waste, which includes a bio bag, a red hazmat bio bag. And that bio bag only holds about 55 pounds. And when I say 55 pounds, you really are talking about 25 pounds because wet liquid weighs more than dry. So if it is a very bloody crime scene and we have stuff that is soaking wet, that is going to, I could take your carpet, let's say in your closet, and that would probably be one bio box. And that, you're talking about a very small carpeted area. So that's what drives that price. So it's a very different from you guys cleaning up your own blood scenes at your houses versus calling a certified person to come out and do it.
Right.
But mostly, it's homeowners, and the police should be giving everybody, if they are a victim of a crime, I am in New Jersey. So in New Jersey, we have a victims program through the police department, and sometimes they will help cover some of these fees and costs.
Right, yeah. How long have you been doing this job?
So I've been doing this for 17 years. I'm going on my 17th year this year, and I have been certified for the last, I want to say, 8 years I've been certified in doing this, 8 to 10 years. is when I went through my training. And we do watch the same police videos there. If anybody is a police officer or in the military, police, or Department of Justice, like a corrections officer, we actually have to sit through the exact same police training. In training, I had to sit for 3.5 hours and watch a gentleman take a 44 Magnum gun, put it to his head, blow his head off in a police station. And we watched that for 3.5 hours straight. Because what they're trying to teach us is they're trying to teach the cops what not to do. They're trying to teach us where we're looking for bodily fluids to come out. So depending on what caliber gun you use, when people shoot themselves in the head, that bullet usually bounces around a whole bunch before it comes out. And in those films, we're trained to see like eye bulges and mucus coming out of the nose. We are trained to, look for that. We are trained to look for blood. We're trained to look for blood. Blood's a crazy thing. So everybody knows you have plasma in your blood. And the longer a body sits, the blood and your plasma actually will start separating. And that plasma is very sticky. It is like, for anybody who cooks, it's kind of like when you heat sugar and you pour it on your floor. It's very sticky and it does not want to move. It just wants to stay there. That's probably the hardest stuff for us to clean up. Usually I am not there when I've only been to 2 crime scenes, which is the hospital story I told you about. That blood was very, very, very fresh. Usually by the time I get there, it is all dried up, and our process for removing this blood is we have to wet it. So the way we do that is we use water, because blood actually is kind of like a swamp. So it'll get a protective film on top of it because it wants to protect all of that virus and germs and everything that's in your blood. It wants to keep it alive. So it gets this like slime on the top and it protects everything else underneath. So we actually will wet it down with water, because if you ever scrape dry blood, you are putting yourself at such a high risk to get infected with anything that is in that blood. We are trained that hepatitis A, B, and C can live in dry blood. It is not dangerous for you to breathe it in per se if it is, let's say, on your countertop, because it's in the air, you're not breathing it. But once you start scraping it, those microscopic blood particles get into your body and they reanimate themselves. We've learned that AIDS can reanimate in blood that is dried for up to 60 days. So when I go into a crime scene, I act as though everything in there is going to kill me, because it is. It's kind of scary what we do. I know somebody had a question on chat about how we go to the bathroom. So when I suit up, number one, we always go to the bathroom before we suit up. That is the number one rule. And if we have to go to the bathroom while we're suited up, we actually have to de-suit, and we work in teams of 2. You never do a blood cleanup by yourself. We work in teams of 2. We make sure that when you are cutting yourself out of the suit, because we are duct taped in, that there are no punctures, there are no scratches, there are no scrapes. We cut ourselves out of the suit, go to the bathroom, and then we suit up and do this process all over again. So depending on the heat in the house, the weather outside, it all depends on how long we can actually be in that crime scene. So that house that I was telling you about with the girl who stabbed herself, we were at that house for 5 days, and we could only work in 15 minutes inside the house at a time. And then we would have to come outside. You have to de-suit. You have to come outside and you have to cool yourself down, because if anybody's ever worn a full face respirator, they get very, very, very hot and you will overheat. I say that is the worst crime scene because of what I had to go through. I actually stripped down to a pair of shorts and a sports bra, and we taped ice packs, those crushable ice packs, around our bodies. And once we were suited up in the house, once we felt ourselves getting overheated, we would crush the ice packs and we would cool our bodies down. And that gave us another extra 15 minutes inside that house to work before we had to come out. It's very grueling. It does take a toll on your body. and it is very mental. Everything is a mental game. It's a lot of mental. You really do have to almost become not human. You walk into work and you know what you're doing that day, and you are that light switch. You are. I look at it as I am these families, lifeline. I am dealing with something that they can't deal with and they shouldn't deal with. Not that they can't do it, but what I see, nobody really needs to see. It does weigh on you. And I can tell you this. So we only do one crime scene cleanup a day. You're never really called out to one or two unless it is like a little scrape of blood on the carpet from, your knee bleeding. Then you can do another one. But we do not do more than one crime scene cleanup a day. And then we usually, once that job is complete, we usually will have the next day off to literally for a mental day, just for us to recuperate.
Mandy asked, have you had any paranormal activity? Not Mandy, Mary, sorry.
We sometimes, we think that we do, especially if a person has passed and it's been a very long time since their body was found. We did see, a couple times, like our tools where we know our tools are, and we would come back and they would be someplace else. And when you're in a crime scene, you don't go places where you're not supposed to, only because you're suited up. So you don't want to cross-contaminate anything. So we have seen tools missing. A couple of us have had experiences at home where people have said, their radios have gone berserk in their car. And some people have dreams where they feel like they're back at that crime scene and they're reliving what this person felt. And they've said that they've woken up with sleep paralysis. I personally have never had, I don't think anything followed me home from a crime scene. But we did have a radio go off at one house where a gentleman had passed. A radio was going off, and it was very weird because it was in the off position and it kept turning on. But other than that, no, I haven't really had any paranormal experiences myself, per se.
Mm.
Yeah, Slam RN, they said that they can listen to music and they can laugh and joke and everything just to kind of keep their minds off of what they're really doing.
Yes. So with crime scene cleanup, I have found, and this is me personally, that when it is very quiet in the house, I make mistakes. And that's something you don't want to do when you're using sharp objects and you're around blood and body fluids. So if we have music on and we're joking, and it is very hard to talk in the respirators, so you really are screaming through them. We do joke, we do laugh, we kind of, we'll dance around a little bit to kind of lighten the mood. So we do that, and that really does keep us more focused on what we're doing. So everybody who has, elderly neighbors, just please check on them, especially in the winter and the summer times. Those seem to be most of our cleanups are the elderly or people with disabilities who don't have a lot of family members or neighbors checking on them. So we always, we always wonder about, the elderly. They're always on our mind.
Right.
Wintertime is the hardest. I mean, I've done a really bad cleanup in a rental car. A gentleman blew his brains out with a gun in the car, and we actually had to have a mechanic come because I'm not a mechanic. I do not know how to take a dashboard to a vehicle apart. And in those instances, we actually will have the car mechanics with us. We will suit them up, and we will tell them what needs to be taken apart. And we actually watch them take it apart. They will take their screws, and they'll take their screws out, and then we clean the screws, and then we will clean the dashboard. And we kind of you always go from a crime scene furthest and work yourself in. Where on a mold damage or a fire or a water, you actually go to the source and you clean outwards. So a biological is done different. It's the entrance to the worst part. And I do have to get a lot of shots. If there's a vaccine out there, I have to get it. I've had hepatitis A, B, and C series. We have to get tetanus shots I think the standard now is every 10 years. I am required to get it done every 7. And my company does pay for those.
Hi, Cupcake.
Hi, Cupcake. Hmm. See, I don't think we have to pay for that service here. But then I could be wrong.
It's very costly. It's like I said, it's not even what I do as far as, my cutting out of the drywall and that kind of stuff. It's really it's disposing of it, because it has to be incinerated. So that's like the scariest part. We get a lot of people who pass in their bed. And let me tell you something, if anybody has ever gotten a new mattress and pulled their old mattress out, how heavy it is, they do become even heavier. Mattresses are like big diapers. They are very, very, very absorbent. And the way we handle those is we actually will cut them apart. And I try to save people money. A lot of companies don't, but I am one of those people who I have a heart. So we actually break our bio stuff down. So if I have to take a mattress apart, we actually will cut everything that is not affected with any type of bodily fluid, and put that in a normal, regular trash to be disposed of. And anything that does have bodily fluid on, that's the only thing that we are putting in a bio box. I did one cleanup it was a high rise in the city, and I believe it was for lower income families that had medical issues. And this guy had some kidney failure. He was kidney and diabetes. And when you have that type of illness, cancers, that type of thing, your body decompes faster than a regular person who is healthy. And this person wasn't seen for 2 weeks, and he passed in his bed. And I'm going to tell you from experience, your eyeballs after a while will pop out of your head. You will ooze from every orifice. I saw things on that bed that I have never seen in my life. I've been doing this a long time, and I have never seen what I saw on this bed. Paper towels didn't want to absorb it. Cotton didn't want to absorb it. Kitty litter didn't want to absorb it. So we wound up running it through one of our extraction machines, because I just didn't know what to do with it. And when we'd asked, I have a very skilled chemist at my job, and I actually called them and was like, you need to help me because I can't figure this out. And basically they were telling me that it was like a stomach acid and whatnot. And I didn't realize how potent stomach acid really is. I mean, that stuff is acid, like it will eat through stuff. So I was kind of amazed, looking at things like, what you see and what you find. It doesn't make death any easier, just so you guys know. Like, I still fear death, and it doesn't make it any easier for me when I hear friends, family, or anybody passing away, because those are the images that I see in my head. Not that those have happened to anybody, but when you do these crime scene cleanups, that's your flashback. That's what you think of when you hear somebody passing. So you just correlate it to what you do every day for a job.
Mm.
I can't teach chat, so I don't know if anybody's asking questions.
Slam RN wants to know, do you work with any males or someone stronger?
So it depends on who is actually in rotation to actually help me. So usually where I work, a lot of females were the ones who actually do these cleanups. We have 2 males that'll do them, and we have about 8 females that'll do them. So women are a lot stronger than I think everybody gives us credit for. I mean, we do what we have to do to get the job done, and I can promise you that we do it better than any male. Not that my guys aren't good, but I think that females tend to do it a little bit better. And I don't know if anybody's following like the Orrin and Orson West, the little boys who are missing in California. I know that their house used to be a grow house. So we clean those as well. We clean drug houses, which is super scary because of the fentanyl. And there is really no mask out there other than an oxygenated mask, because fentanyl is so dangerous that, you know, we could die going into these places. So those little boys, that breaks my heart that it was a grow house, because you just don't know what type of chemicals and what they were actually growing. Hopefully it was just pot that they were growing in there, and not something else more dangerous.
I don't think the boys were there anyway, were they? I think they're trying to say they hadn't been seen for, you know, before they moved to that house.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's kind of crazy. So I kind of got into my job because I used to train search and rescue dogs. That's what I did back in 2003. And I had a bomb sniffer dog, I had a mold detection dog, and I had a therapy dog who also did search and rescue. And what a lot of people don't understand is the search and rescue dogs, we train those dogs on live scent. That is something that is living. When you have a decomp scent, that is a cadaver dog. They're trained completely 2 totally very, very, very different ways. And when they brought those search dogs into that house, those dogs should be picking up those little boys in that house, because their scent should be on the couches. If they have area rugs, I don't care how much you shampoo them, these dogs' noses are so sensitive, they will pick them up. So I am with everybody else. I do not believe those little boys went there. And I also do not believe that those little boys are buried underneath of the bricks. If they were, you would definitely see a depression underneath of the bricks, and you would smell decomposition. You just would. It's a very, very, very distinct smell. My company went down to Katrina, that really bad hurricane that we had back in 2003, and we could smell decomp. We were, there was no hotels, so we actually made like a base camp in a warehouse parking lot with our box trucks and campers. And a big, huge pile of rubble was next to us, and we all smelled decomposition and could not figure out where it was coming from, but we could smell it. And here, 50 yards away from us for a month and a half, was a person that was lying under a bunch of rubble. It was a lot of tree limb debris and that kind of stuff. And we only smelled it after, you know, he baked in that Louisiana sun for a while. So it's a very, very, very distinctive smell. You'll never forget it. And it takes us a very long time for us to get that out of your house. I tell everybody it's kind of like cooking a fish dinner. If you don't get rid of the actual fish, you're never going to get the fish smell out of your house. And that's kind of, you know, the mindset that I go into when we do decomps, because that smell does get into everything.
Yeah, Cupcake, you're going to have to rewind. She already told that. So please don't repeat the same questions.
A Huff did ask you what causes the eyeballs popping out or something, which I would have thought that your eyeballs would have dried up after a while anyway.
So it depends. It usually depends on what position your body is in, which is going to kind of, nature's going to take its place, and you're not going to fight gravity. This person's head, because he was on oxygen, he had a restricted airway, so the pressure in his brain actually caused your body does bloat. It bloats more in water than it does like if it's not in water, but your body will bloat from gases, and that pressure if your mouth isn't open or if there's something obstructing your airway, it will cause your eyeballs to bulge out of your head. That's how that happens. I can tell you a really horrible story. I mean, to me, this was probably like the weirdest, but it was heartbreaking, actually. There was a heavyset lady. She was probably, I'm going to say 300 to 400 pounds per woman. She went into her bathroom, and her bathroom was not a standard bathroom. Usually doorways are about 3 feet wide. This doorway was probably, I want to say 2.5 feet. And it pushed inward. So when you walked into the bathroom, the door goes into the bathroom. She had fallen and smashed her head on the bathtub. And that is where her head rested. That is the position that they found her in. The way she fell, she had shut the door. So we couldn't get in. The police couldn't get in. They had to climb in through a bathroom window. And I had to give them plastic because the body had not been moved and the body was in there for a few days. What happens is that, again, that pressure builds up in the body. So I told them to cover her with plastic because as soon as they touch her, something is going to pop, whether it's gas coming out of her mouth, her ears. You're going to, what we call the popping motion. So they were able to get the door open, and her body was in such a state of decomposition that the coroner refused and the funeral home refused to pick this body up. They could not get the gurney in the door. They couldn't get her out because she had bloated so much. They couldn't get her out. So they actually had to, the fire department brought in sawzalls, electric saws, like hand saws. And they actually started to dismember her in the bathroom to remove her body. It was probably the most heartbreaking thing I've ever heard in my life, because I can't imagine somebody telling me that they had to do that to my family member. But they actually had to dismember her in the bathroom. And then they brought her out in pieces. And for all of these killers who are killing these people and they are dismembering them, it is not an easy thing to do. It took the fire department a good 2.5 hours to dismember her, to get it in pieces that they could move. It took them that long to do it. And the flies, I think for me, the worst part of my job is the bugs. Blowflies start to land on a body within, I believe it's like 2 hours. And that is the worst part of my job, is the bugs. The bugs really they freak me out. Those are the things that give me nightmares, are the bugs. And that's a scary, scary situation. When they pulled her up, I could see a good imprint. Her skin was still there. Some of these images will never leave me, but I could see the whole outline of her face on that bathtub. And that was it's just heartbreaking. It really is just heartbreaking.
Hi, Chickadee.
Okay, on a happier note.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like such a Debbie Downer. I'm just like, this is what happens when you die. And I'm usually not there, just so you guys are aware. Like, I don't get called, and no real crime scene cleaner. We do not get called usually until the body is removed. There have only been, I think in my 17-year career, I've only been on 5 jobs where the body was still there. One of them was in a hotel. The other one was at this apartment complex. It's very, very rare that I get to see those type of things. And we try to be super, super, super discreet when we're moving this stuff in and out of the house. We de-suit and suit up a lot.
Yeah.
And we get bruised. I mean, I see these nurses because of the ickies, with bruises on their face and those respirators. What we do, I really do beat the crap out of my body. I've had bruises from wearing a respirator on my face, inside of my lips. like above my teeth have been completely black, just from the pressure of these respirators. They're rough.
Right.
So nobody go and, do anything crazy. I don't want to have to clean you up. And we don't, and I can tell you this, I am not allowed to clean up family members. That is one thing that I am not allowed to do, professionally. I can do it personally, but, we are discouraged to clean up our immediate family members. I don't think I would want to ever clean up my kids or my husband, even though I might feel, the need as their mom, as their wife to do it, because I feel that is my responsibility. But it is something that we're taught that we should not do. That is the best, practices for us not to clean up family members.
Yeah.
I think at this point, though, I'm so desensitized. I know somebody had asked me a while ago how many crime scenes I clean up. And if I had to average it out, I would probably say 3 a week for 17 years is how many crime scenes I've cleaned up. So it's been a lot. And just because I'm calling it a crime scene, doesn't mean it's a crime scene. So it could be a suicide. It could be somebody who just had a really bad accident. We had a person who was a hemophiliac, and he cut himself on the arm and walked all over his house, and his house was literally everything in there was white. And he walked across the whole thing. I mean, I thought there was a murder that took place, and they were like, no, he's a hemophiliac and he survived. I'm like, oh Lord, some of these things, they kind of take you back. I mean, I was called on a job where a deer broke through somebody's sliding glass door and their alarm system went off. And so the house was surrounded by cops. And here it was the deer, and the police shot the deer in the people's master bedroom on their bed. And that deer bled so much. I mean, again, we thought it was a crime scene, and it was Halloween. And I usually get pictures text to me. If they have them, people will text me and show me or tell me what I'm walking into. And I really thought it was a joke. And I'm like, that's a great, haunted house. And they were like, this is your next job. And I'm like, yeah, you're joking, right? And they were like, no, we're serious. This is your next job. This is where you're going. And I'm like, what happened? And they showed me a picture of the deer, and I'm like, holy crap. I mean, so I always kind of tell my family, if I was to die today, please somebody get my phone, because they're going to think I'm a serial killer, because I have to take pictures. So I've got thousands of pictures on my cell phone of just, every trauma crime scene that I've ever been to. It's all on my cell phone. So that is like a big running joke in here. If something happens to mom, get her cell phone before the cops do, because they're going to think she's a killer. And my kids that was there, I was the cool mom, because, like I said, I do other things. I don't just clean up crime scenes. That's what I just specialize in. And my kids will go into show and tell or parent day, and what does your mom do? And my kids will go, my mom cleans up dead bodies. I'm like, that's not really what I do, but okay. Like, I do other things too. But so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, this has been fun. It's not often that people kind of want to hear like what we do. People think it's cool, and then people get afraid. They get very scared. They're, I do clean up dead bodies, and I could clean up a crime scene. And I know for a fact we were featured. My company was featured on a television show, and I believe it was called The New Detectives on Discovery, where a gentleman had allegedly killed his wife in the bedroom, and he burnt his bed and his headboard, and he got rid of his carpet, and he called my company, and he called us to do a spring cleaning on his home. We cleaned it so good that when the police luminoled that house, they found one speck of blood in the garage on a step. If we're not told what we're cleaning, and you tell me, oh, my carpet is removed because there's rust, that it was a metal bed frame, it had rust on my carpet. We actually have a product that is called Rusticide, What that does is it breaks down anything that has iron in it. Your blood has iron in it. Rusticide removes blood stains. Again, peroxide, that's your best friend. Baking soda is your best friend. That'll pull stains up. Citrus is great. Any type of like orange kaboom type citrus, that's really good to clean with. You just have to know the process.
Wasn't that really dangerous though? Because you guys didn't know that was a crime scene?
So we didn't know it was a crime scene. So in the bedroom, like I said he had a frame that rusted. And so we scrubbed that floor down with rusticide. So any type of blood that would have been in there, we completely destroyed all of that evidence for him.
Right.
And had no
I
idea.
mean, like for the workers, because don't you like suit up differently when it's a crime scene as when it's just a regular cleanup?
Yes. So if we just come into your house to do a spring cleaning, I am not in a full PPE suit. This gentleman had removed everything. There was no blood. If we saw blood, we would, by law, I have to bring it to somebody's attention. Hey, there's blood here. We saw nothing. I mean, the carpet was gone. The pad was gone. We saw a small little stain that didn't really register to anybody. Hey, this could be blood. It didn't look like blood. It didn't smell like blood. And he told us, the bed, we had a water damage from our master bathroom. And what he told us seemed to it was very logical, what he had said. And so they used rusticide on that little spot. It wasn't a huge spot. It was probably the size of a $50. So it kind of matched with the bed frame. If you have a bed frame or wood and it gets wet, it kind of runs. Nobody's house is completely level. So it didn't throw up any red flags. And so they used rusticide, cleaned that whole floor, and boom, we destroyed all types of evidence. And this gentleman, and for the life of me, I do not remember his name, but he did get away with it. He was never charged with his wife's murder, ever. And when that show came on, my entire family rang my phone off the hook all night long. Did you do this? Do you know this? Do you know you're on TV? I said, I am going to bed. Stop calling me. Yes, I know we're on TV.
I was just about to say that there's some other channels out there that would take that story and run with it.
I know. But again, it's this old wives' tale that bleach cleans everything, and it doesn't. And that's, to be honest with you, that's how 99% of these people get caught. Because they use bleach, they use Pine Sol, and I'm like, you guys have I look at stuff and I'm like, yep, nope, you're getting caught. You're done. You're done.
What happened?
I don't know.
I'm here.
Oh, everybody just got so quiet all of a sudden.
I can't see chat. I'm in my bedroom because if I'm out in the living room, you're going to hear my husband screaming, playing video games. So.
And you decide to do something else, something that won't hurt you or anybody else.
Scooter. Oh my gosh, I can't find
Now we all know how to get away with murder.
You do. You guys know how to basically clean up a crime scene. Start from the furthest point, work your way in, get lots of plastic. You can dump your own blood in the garbage. You guys are fine. Don't call me because I have to charge you.
I like to think of all kinds of helpers in our world.
Oh my gosh.
And peroxide is your best friend. Everybody invest in a lot of peroxide. Peroxide is your best friend. Of course, you guys can't get the strength that I get it at. We get a higher percentage than what you guys can get in the public.
What do you use it for?
We use peroxide as a blood detector.
I use it too as a blood detector.
And then we also use it to clean.
I am totally serious. I've been using peroxide as a blood detector for a long time.
Yeah. We use that. We use black lights. If you get the right glasses, I mean, you can use black lights. Again, black lights are scary because they pick up everything. They pick up all body fluids. So just because you pick something up, I mean, I try not even to stay in hotels. I mean, I brought a black light in there one time, and I was
I can't
never
do a black
going to
night
stay
in
at a
hotels
hotel
because I
again.
wouldn't stay there. Right.
I don't I don't like staying in hotels. I can promise you, I know Nanny Patty is probably going to be very upset, but I won't even stay at a casino. A lot of people really do commit suicide in casinos. That's their favorite thing, hotels and casinos. They just love it. I don't know why, but we do a lot of work in those.
My niece used to work in the casinos, and she said the things people would do in there, not to leave their machines, their slot machines. She said they would pee, women will sit there, pee in cups, or they'll just pee right there on the chair. She said you'll find period blood and everything there. And she said it's just so disgusting that the things people will do.
It's crazy because we do a lot of traveling. I am on what's called storm team. So when there's major disasters, I'm one of the first people that go. And when we stay in hotels, and I'm bad. I am a huge germaphobe. I really am. I clean up crime scenes, but I'm a germaphobe. But I will go into the bathroom. I'm like, that's mold. That there's stains on the comforter. We're not sleeping on this. I bring my own pillows. It just skews me out. It just really skews me out. And not to, knock on New Jersey, but you really will never catch me in a casino spending the night down there. I'll drive the 45 minutes to get there and come home. I don't do it. It's just, I can't. And it's really bad when you do this, you do crime scene cleanup and you do these types and you go into a casino to have dinner and they know you, they know who you are. And I'm like, I don't want to, just don't talk to me about work. Like, I'm not at work right now. And I can tell you this, we do stay hidden when we're in the casinos and hotels. Our vans are parked in sally ports where the public has no idea what's going on. Like, they really do not pay any attention to us when we are there.
Yes,
Which is scary.
Rochelle, yes, my niece said that same thing. She told me a bunch more gross stuff.
What thing? Same thing.
Well, she was saying right here, yep, my friend worked at a casino and she said it's disgusting. Many of them actually wear adult diapers so they don't have to leave their machine.
Yeah. We do disinfectants down there right now. We're doing at least 2 to 3 casinos every other day. It's gross. It's just disgusting.
Sorry, we're not laughing at you.
That's okay.
The chat.
What did they say? What did they say? I can't see the chat.
Well, Mary Hildebrand says, WTF is that noise?
Two of the best words we can ever learn. Do you have some favorite neighbors? Neighbors with whom you can talk and play, ask for help. I hope so.
Oh my goodness.
I'll tell you what, Caroline.
Some of that cleaning stuff.
When you were showing your dolls and you were telling us how you cleaned them, we actually have a machine that fuses air bubbles. It's the craziest thing. We dip these dolls in the solution and we use air bubbles to clean them. It's the craziest thing. It's the neatest machine I've ever seen.
That would be Scoot farting then.
Well, we do a lot of sports people's houses, and a lot of people do collect dolls. And let me tell you, some of these houses
That's
are
strange.
real.
Who would collect dolls?
It's kind of creepy. we've gone and done a couple of these fire jobs where this one lady, she had a room and there must have been thousands of dolls. I mean, there were just dolls upon dolls, like
It's crazy.
everywhere. You just literally
is
thought like you were
crazy.
just being watched. I mean, it really was the creepiest room that we
They have to
ever
grow up
did.
sometime. You know, they just can't grow up, those kind of people.
I mean, you want to talk about paranormal? I mean, we used to think that these dolls, like the eyes were watching us. I mean, there was a couple people who like refused to go in there. They were like, heads were turning, dolls were making noises and going off, and I'm like, I don't know about this room. It was scary.
They should really put away those playthings. That's, you know, for yesteryear. That's all yesteryear stuff. I don't know why they're trying to recapture their youth or something, I think. I can't understand people like that. Crazy.
Doesn't it feel good when you're just about to do something that you never do something else, something that won't hurt you or anybody?
What is that?
It's Mr. Rogers.
Mhm.
Is it a doll?
No, it's probably a voice box thing she has.
Yeah, a little figurine.
Taking care is one way to show your love. Another way is letting people take good care of you.
Oh, my goodness.
So does anybody else have any more questions or anything they want to ask? I can't see chat, so.
Anybody? Do you see anything, Scooter?
I'm looking. Carol, somebody said, oh, Danielle, Carolyn has the best poker face ever. Lisa, yes, she does. She's got her baby in the mail. It's talking. I have a few creepy dolls. Show us.
Who does?
Roberty Bob says, show us. He wants to see.
I like to think of all kinds of helpers in our world.
Oh my gosh. Where do you find this stuff?
Oh.
I don't know where you find it.
Oh. No, we're not being mean.
Who said that?
Mary,
Hildebrand?
no. Kim Chihuahuas.
Oh.
No, we're not.
Being mean to who?
She just says we're being mean.
Hopefully she's kidding.
Voice change.
Arabic crying.
There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are. You special by just being you.
This is not the creepy fortune teller.
What is that really though? What is that though? What is that called?
You know who he is.
I know who he is, but what is it called?
You're getting so mad.
Yeah, because I want to know what it's called.
It is called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Mr. Rogers'
That's
Neighborhood?
the name of it.
Do you have some favorite neighbors? Real neighbors. Whom you can talk and play and ask for help if you need it.
So
I
Crafty
couldn't watch
Crafty
all of
Peep
that
asked.
movie.
Crafty
It's just
Peep
Carolyn,
asked.
She's
It's
there was-
Mr. Rogers.
wait,
there
hold
was-
on,
Crafty
hold on.
Peep.
She's reading a question. Crafty Keith asked what?
Crafty Peep asked, there was a question what she thought of FE cleanup. I don't know what they're talking about. Who's FE?
That's right, Robbie Bob. No, it's Mr. Rogers, Slammerhead. Zoltar was so last year.
So 2020.
Oh.
Caroline, did you follow the Joel guy
Oh, yeah.
trial?
Yep.
Yeah, there's I was in another chat room and they were asking why did you see the photos with where the dad's hands were found?
Mm-hmm.
How they blacked them out. I honestly, I was asked, if they left them, and I honestly couldn't answer it. I'm going to assume they did the coroner. They didn't leave them, but it is possible. We've gone. I have done a couple cleanups where like serious body parts were left that we had to dispose of.
Are they talking about when they first walked out of I think they're talking about when they first walked out of the house when they didn't even know what was happening and they all ran out and he told them back out of the house. We got something here.
Yeah, I think so. When they were going through the trial, I remember them showing the pot with the mom's head, and then they were showing like the blood stains and the smears up in the hallway.
Yeah.
And they just kept showing that same photo, with the blurred out hands. And I remember somebody asked me, like, do you take the hands? I'm like, I wasn't there. I have no idea if the hands were left. Like, if they left them, we would have to, like, by law, I have to take them. Like, I would have to clean that up.
I don't think they left them.
Yeah, I don't
Cupcake
think
is
so
yelling
either.
a question. She's yelling. Someone asked earlier what you thought of Chris Watts' cleanup job at his house in Colorado.
So I only saw one picture in the garage, and not being able to see it on site versus seeing it through a picture that is super blurry. I mean, I really don't want to comment on that because if I don't see it with my own eyes or I get a clear picture of it, there's nothing I can really say about it. I mean, if they didn't find blood and stuff through that house, and if Shanann was strangled, I don't understand why there would be blood, unless he was ripping her down the steps.
Look at Crystalina's question.
Crystallina? Crystallina
yeah.
bacteria?
Yeah. That's what somebody just said. Scrolling back up. Yeah, Bergstrom, I saw you say that earlier. That's really sad.
Oh, and just so everybody knows, you do not have to disclose that somebody committed suicide in your house. It goes by your state law.
New York
not
state
every
you
state
do.
is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, not every state law you do. I know in Jersey you do not. You don't have to disclose that unless you are asked.
Did you answer Christina's bacteria's question?
No, Crystalina, she just answered that. We just asked her
right,
this
sorry.
question. Yeah, we asked her about the CW, about the house there. She just answered it.
So bodily fluids, when a person passes, everybody thinks that they defecate themselves right away, and that is not true. If they have a full bladder and they are they pass, that's when that usually happens. If it usually takes a while, just like if a woman is pregnant, they're not going to push that baby out right away. It takes a while for that to happen. It's not something that is instantaneously. It usually happens after rigor mortis sets in, because that is the tightening of your body, and then your body relaxes. Cupcake just asked me about red wine and carpet, and I would have to ask the chemist at my job about that, so I could get back to you on that, maybe on another live, because that's not something that I normally get out of carpet would be red wine. So I do not have the answer to that off the top of my head.
Davita Lane, what are you saying? I see in chat, my daughter did. What's that?
Tanya lost her bodily function, everything right away.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it also depends, again, on the health of the person. If a person is sickly, decomposition rigor mortis sets in faster than a normal healthy person. So that is why they always say this person passed between this time and that time versus it's at 8 o'clock this person passed away, because every body is different. I've been to a crime scene cleanup where a person completely lost their bowels, and rigor mortis didn't even set in yet. It was just the onset, not the aftermath. So it really depends on the health of a person. And again, if their bladder's full, if their stomach is full, all of those things play a factor.
Okay, Augie, good night, sweetheart. Sleep good. I will leave you with this, Augie, for your dreams. Here's a message just for you.
Doesn't it feel good when you're just about to do something that you know is wrong, and you decide to do something else, something that won't hurt you or anybody else? Doesn't that feel great?
So yes, I do make $26 an hour, and that is on every job that I do. It doesn't matter if it's a water job, a mold job, a fire job, or a crime scene cleanup. I get paid the same. Our technicians, the people who work underneath of me, they will get an extra $10 above what they are making hourly wage to do a bio cleanup.
Our health, I didn't buy it anywhere. It just showed up. It appeared.
Have you actually watched the film? It's a bit creepy.
No, to answer Anna's question, no, I have never denied a cleanup. We actually will do drug dealers' houses, and we will actually clean drugs and put them right back where we found them.
To answer your question, our Huff, Barnes and Nobles. You're welcome, Augie. Yeah, if you have a
That
Barnes
film
and
that
Nobles.
Mr. Rogers, what's the film called? Is it just Mr. Rogers?
I haven't watched that yet.
Oh, it's a bit weird.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a bit. I like Tom Hanks, but I couldn't
my
watch
gosh.
it.
I found the book.
What?
I found the book that I've been trying to tell you people about.
What?
I thought you were going to say that the breeders got back to you and said you could have a puppy.
No, I used to have this book when I was a little girl, the Doll Family, okay? And they moved. Does anybody, I know Lisa H. probably knows this book. Hold on. Where did I just see that?
I love you too, Mary Hildebrand.
Oh my God.
So just so you guys know, to respond to Karen H. and Kevin Leonard, there is a company based out of Massachusetts that that just does crime scene cleanups, and they charge, I can promise you, I know this for a fact, it is $2,500 for them to roll their truck. And that means that they show up at your house. You are paying $2,500 before I show up there. And then it is $298 an hour for the supervisor and $198 for the technician. So that's all they do. My company that I work for, we do 6 different things. Areas of specialty cleaning, that's why I only get paid $26 an hour, because I don't just do one thing. Our company handles a multitude of things. And it wouldn't be fair if I came to your house to do a water damage and charged you $35 an hour, and then came to your house and charged you $55 an hour for mold. That's just not how my company works. It's a base standard that we are paid on. But I would love to make $100 an hour, so thank you guys. I would love that.
That's wonderful, Danielle C. Wonderful. That book looks cute.
At Avalon Apples, yes, we actually did work a high-profile case. We worked the Anthrax Poisoning in D.C. My company did do that. That was probably the company's scariest thing, because anthrax, everything gets buried. Everything. Every piece of equipment we use, every piece of clothing that you wear every day, it all gets buried.
Has that book been written in though, Caroline?
No. Let me show you the rest of it. It's unbelievable.
Are we going to be able to see the whole book?
Yeah, I'll show it to you. It was my favorite book. And I don't know if it might be in this house somewhere. It might not. I don't know. Let me get, where did I just see this?
It looks so cute.
I was just on, what did I say? Call small blog spot.
Yeah, we're happy, Danielle, that your knee is starting to get better. We've been through it with that. Is that Jimmy?
Oh.
That Mr. Roberts, no?
Heck was this? Where was this?
Just the way you are. Made this day a special day by just your being you.
I heard about special friends.
This whole freaking thing.
No, Augie went to bed. That's why you don't see her. She left to listen in from bed. So that's why you can't see her. Oh, Lisa H put a link up, Carolyn.
I have it. I have it.
Oh.
I just lost it for a second.
Okay.
She put a link up for what?
For all the pictures.
I know I have it. I closed it by accident.
Well, she has it there in chat in case.
Is it that blog? Is it the Call Small Blog Spot?
No, it's called printmag.com, post living something. She says it has a lot of pictures from the book.
Oh, well, I think this one that hold on a minute. Doll Family, what did I put in there? That's what I put in there. Hang on.
I wish I had remembered to tell you the dream I had with you in it a couple nights ago.
Me?
Uh-huh.
So to answer Kim D's question, the crime scene cleanup at Nicole Brown Simpson, I thought was a travesty. But again, this is 2021, and you're going back to, I believe it was 1992. So crime scene cleanups have come a very, very long way from then until now. Training that I got, per se, when I first started this, I want to say between 8 and 10 years ago, I got certified. My training, when I went to recertify, I have to do that every 2 years, is different now. Now we actually use real life scenarios. My class is probably under 100. And I can tell that by my certification number of how many people are certified, what class year you were in. So now we actually go in and we use what we call it, we actually have a house built that's inside of a warehouse, and we go into a room and they will shoot a pig carcass and stab a pig carcass and a lot of fake blood. It's real blood, it's pig blood, it's not human blood. And that's how we get trained to clean. That's how we get certified. We have our instructors come in and go behind us to see what we left, where we left it, and that's just how we get better. So crime scene cleanup and trauma cleanups have just come such a long way in such a very, in my world, it's a short time. You don't know me, Brown. So to respond to that, this is Caroline's channel, and I respect her and all the panel guests. So I don't really promote what company I work for. I just don't think that would be fair to everybody unless, they said, yes, you could, or, I just don't know if that's something that I would want to do because this is my real name. This is my real profile. Like everything here is real.
Oh, Sass. Why can't I just, I had this, oh, this is going to drive me crazy. I had the entire site that had every page of the book.
So to answer Libra scale, the hours on cleaning up a job depends on how big the mess is, to be honest with you. I can correlate it to this. If it took you an hour to clean your bathroom, it's going to take me 2 hours to clean it in a suit. And that's how we judge by time. So normally a normal blood cleanup from start to finish, just a typical average one that I would say is average for me, usually takes about 3 days from start to finish. And that includes getting the decomp smell out of the structure. Karen H., how do you eliminate mold? Mold needs 3 things to grow. It needs the right temperature, it needs darkness, and it needs a food source. So to eliminate mold, you want to eliminate one of those 3 things, and it's usually the moisture.
Not this way, go up this way.
Kevin, yes, my job is very interesting. I never know what I'm walking into on a normal day's worth of work. We don't tell people the day before because we just don't want people thinking about it. I don't want to go to bed thinking about a body cleanup that I have to do tomorrow. So we are, I walk into work every day not knowing what I'm doing. Gen Age, yes, it does take a special kind of person to do what I do. I don't per se think it's anything that I'm special about. I'm just able to disconnect, and that's the best way I can describe it. Is just I have the ability to disconnect from what is going on around me, and I just realize that this is my job. This is what I train to do. I like doing it, and I'm helping people, and that's the heart of why I do what I do, is because I help people. Yes, again, Kevin Leonard, you can find me to clean up your plate.
I'm not going to stop until I find this.
Oh, I know. I
No,
want to see it.
I know,
We
but
want a
I am
bedtime
like
story.
freaked out now that I just had it up here and I can't get it up here again.
Oh, you can.
So just for all the people asking about mold, there are like 250,000 different types of mold. Just because it is black does not mean it's Stachybotrys. That is the most scary mold. What everybody really should be worried about is penicillin aspergillus. That is the stuff that really will medically hurt you the fastest and the most. And mold cleanup, in my opinion, is like almost the biggest money-making scam out there, because I can teach you how to clean mold in 30 steps and you don't have to pay me thousands of dollars to do it.
Carolyn, can't you go into your history?
It cost about $200,000 to clean up the mold in this house.
Yeah, it's so when you
Because
have mold,
New York is insane. And if you don't
Yeah,
listen to what they say, the first thing they say is you'll be in non-compliance.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
California's the same way.
when you have mold, and it does not matter what kind of mold. Again, bleach does not kill it. Mold is in an exoskeleton, and you've got to get through the exoskeleton to actually kill it. So the way we are trained, I am AMRT trained. That is, I am trained in mold. What we do is we take 3 tablespoons of Dawn antibacterial dish soap to a gallon of water. You're going to get a rag. You're going to soak it. Then you're going to wring it out to where there's no water dripping from it. You're going to wipe the mold down. It may or may not, depending on the type of mold that you have, it may leave a black stain. That's normal. That you kill the mold. That's the dead exoskeleton. It's going to leave a stain. You're going to put some air on it. You're going to dry it. If you want to get rid of the black look or the staining on wood, it happens on cabinets a lot. You can use a peroxide solution, and the peroxide will bleach the wood back to its normal color. But you want to keep a light on and a fan on. You do not want to wet something, a piece of wood, and turn that light off and close the door because you're feeding it now. And that's legitimately how we clean mold. And then we use what's called a HEPA vacuum, and we HEPA vacuum these spores. Because if you have an industrial hygienist come out and test your home, they're going to take air and tape samples. They compare them to what the air is outside and what you've got, what molds are outside. The level in your home should be lower than the level outside. When we pass or fail a post-test, a dead mold spore in an IH report is still a mold spore count. So when you have an IH report, it is my job to remove living mold and the dead mold. And my company's policy is if you pay for an industrial hygienist to come out, we clean, and we fail a test, we come back and we reclean your structure for free. We keep cleaning it until we pass.
Oh, yay, you found it again.
No, look, somebody made a silly, look, a silly, those are the pictures, but somebody made a silly,
Oh, okay. I gotta make it bigger on my tablet so I can see. Let's see.
At Kevin Leonard, we do not use white vinegar on mold. Any type of antibacterial soap will work. We don't use white vinegar, though, for anything, except to clean windows. White vinegar is great to clean windows.
The dysfunctional doll family.
they did it through the whole book. I can't even put up the other pages. They're so bad.
Oh, God, I want to see this. I've got to look this up. This looks great. It's 7 a.m. and Mother is already hard at work. But something is on her mind.
Peroxide is the new bleach. I'm just gonna put that out there. Everybody get peroxide in your head. That's the new bleach.
This is cute.
Other people are saying they love this book. They love this book.
They're saying they love it.
They love this book. No, they love the original book.
Well, yeah. That's what I meant. Danielle wants you to put it in Slack.
What does she want me to do?
Yeah, please.
What does she want me to do? Put it in Slack.
Put it in Slack.
So at Robert Bob, I would love to do a demo. I do not have cameras in my house because of my job. When I am home, we are banned from having any type of Alexa or camera on my computer system. And I am really bad at YouTube. I mean, I'm lucky I could call in to Caroline, and that was that took me a minute to figure out. I'm not a computer savvy person at all. No, Karen, you want to turn a fan on and keep the lights on until it's dry.
They told us that was the worst thing in the world. Jimmy had fans on. They went ballistic.
So you don't want to put a fan on untreated mold, because what a fan does is it's going to take those spores and it's going to move them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically you want, the correct process is to HEPA vacuum the affected area. Then you do what's called a wet wipe, which is the antibacterial solution. Then you're going to come back and do another HEPA vac once that is dry. But once you do that wet wipe, it's dead. The mold, you've killed it. It's dead. And you can put a fan on to dry it, or we use dehumidifiers. Those are, if you have one of those are the safest things to use, because it's going to suck that moisture right out. And then I always suggest to anybody who has a basement or a bathroom that the exhaust fan is like 100 years old, like mine is, and I don't want to, I don't have time to change it out. I get those damp red containers from Walmart or Home Depot that you put the crystals in. Yeah. And if you put those in a crawl space or a basement or your bathroom, they really do work. And you just dump the liquid out. I mean, it's the best thing ever. And that'll really tell you, honestly, if you have a moisture problem. If that thing starts filling up super fast, you've got a moisture problem somewhere. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I have a negative air machine running in my own house right now.
Do you have some favorite neighbors where you live? I mean, real neighbors with whom you can talk and play and ask for help if you need it.
So Danielle, so what you want to do is, again, you want to wet wipe the area with the antibacterial treatment first to kill the mold. And once you kill it, then it is okay to put a fan on it. Yes, keep the lights on. Mold grows between 68 and 72 degrees. That's where it likes to be. And it's got to be dark and it's got to be damp. So you've got to be, above 68 degrees for mold to grow.
Mr. Rogers.
How come I never heard? Did you ever hear of Mattel the Littles?
Yes, I have.
I have not.
I have.
And where was I? It says 1980, the Littles dollhouse.
Yeah, I remember them. I really do.
Well, I was a kid and I never heard of these.
Well, I was a mother, and so maybe one of my kids or little sisters had them. I don't know, but I do remember them for real. I do.
Dolls.
I do too.
Oh, stop it.
I'm not
I
kidding.
don't.
I'm not kidding either. Maybe they didn't have them up on the mountains yet.
I didn't live in the mountains.
at Slam RN up in Jersey, ours is called Damp Red, is what the crystal containers are called that I found at Home Depot. Mr. Rogers just scared the crap out of me. Oh my goodness.
And you decide to do something else, something that won't hurt you or anybody else. Doesn't that feel right?
I never heard of these littles. Going down a very bad
He's
road
speaking
here.
from the sky.
Here's one way to show love. Another way is letting people take good care of you when you need it.
They're like little kittles.
Jen H., you're very welcome.
Yeah, they're all saying thank you very much.
You guys are welcome. And if I'm ever on chat and you guys have a question, you can always just ask me.
Belinda Littles.
Here for the tea says, LOL. I did live in the mountains and I had the littles. One of my favorite memories. And I am 46.
How old is she?
Well, when we get to 46, we'll remember.
She's 46?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I don't remember
Yes,
these at
ma'am.
all. And I would have been in the age range for these. And I love dolls and everything. I never heard of these things. But I don't know. I used to have this little tiny, tell me if anybody remembers this. It was a tiny little kitchen. And it could have been my sister's, could have been mine. It was always, okay. And it was like a full complete kitchen. It was yellow. It had a sink. And it had, you know, cabinets. But it was small, and everything was electric, and it had these little plugs that went in, but it wasn't really electric. I think it was batteries. But you had these little tiny little plugs. They had two little teeny little things, and they went into like a little pretend outlet, and you had an electric knife, and it made an like sound, and then you turn the sink, and the sink would make a water sound, but not water didn't come out. And it was like such a favorite, and I don't know where it was, like who made it, what happened to it. Oh my gosh, I could kill my brother.
I was thinking of Cindy then, but it wouldn't be that, would it?
No, I don't know what it was. Like, I don't know what manufacturer, but it was like such a favorite thing. Oh, I wish somebody would look up all
I
these
don't remember
toys.
that.
So at Claire, she asked a question on how do we detect compartmentalize. I'm not really sure what you mean. Do you mean detect mold or compartmentalize detach? I'm sorry, that was my fault. So basically, I think it's just a person. I just think that you can either detach from a situation or you can't. For me, I had a very traumatic young adult life. So I think it was just easier for me to, my parents got divorced when I was very young, and nobody's parents were divorced back then. It wasn't a big thing. So I learned to just kind of put things in my mind in little separate compartments and deal with it when I needed to deal with it. And then when I didn't have to deal with it anymore, you know, it goes back in its quote unquote little mind file. So that's kind of how we do it. And we also detach when I'm working. Like I said, we joke. We do play music. It's not today's music. It's a lot of swing band. It's a lot of oldies, upbeat stuff that we listen to. And we really seriously try to leave the job at the job. I try not to bring that home. Sometimes it's hard, especially when I clean up little kids and young people. It's extremely hard. I have grandchildren. I have children. My children actually we're all in the same business. We all do the exact same thing. And when we come home, we leave it at the door. We don't talk about it, we just don't talk about it. We just go on like normal people at the end of the day.
Right.
Tammy,
I
I'm
found
still
it.
awake because I've got to ring the doctors in an hour and a half anyway, so I might as well just stay awake now.
The child's Ilco kitchen screams 1970s. It's battery operated. The lights and burners on the cooker illuminate. The blender is powered, and there's even running water for doing the washing up. I think that's the one I had. It looked like this. I'm pretty sure this is it.
At Samantha Hill, I run. I run. I like doing mud runs, so I try to run at least 1.5 miles every day. I haven't since the ickies have been out. But I craft a lot. I watch YouTube a lot. I watch Mommy Ramblings a lot. And that's how I decompress. Running is my escape
That's
from it all.
Cindy's, isn't it?
What?
I'm sure I had one of them as well then.
Now I'm getting, wait, now I'm,
Sorry.
hold on, now I'm opening more images under that name. See, I remember
Sorry for
electric,
jumping in, but
I remember electric knife, and they're talking about a blender, but I remember an electric knife.
I think it had batteries in it. I think you put
And I don't
batteries in
think
the
mine
back
had
of it.
electric running water. I think it just had, it's saying
No.
running water. This one is saying running water. Mine, I remember, just made a sound, I believe.
Patricia is saying eBay 359 little times yellow kitchen set. Sorry, that just really stirred a memory then sitting
I
there.
don't
And
know.
I don't see the little tiny plugs.
So it's Sassy Darcy 1. It's called Damp Rid. You dump the crystals in a container. All 3 containers come together. You dump the crystals in the bottom container, and then you put the filtered container inside of that, and you put it in the bathroom, and then you can take it apart and dump the water and put the crystals back in there. It's called Damp Rid. And at Alma, we use a national price list program called Exactimate, and that is how our price lists are determined by your zip code on where you live. Again, I do not work for a company that strictly does bio cleanup. Those companies base their price quotes out of thin air. So they just come up with numbers, and that's how they do it. We use Exactimate.
This is going to drive me crazy.
$1977, she says.
No, mine was earlier than that because I would have remembered if I got it in 1977. It was something that was always there. It was probably my sister's, so it had to be earlier than that, or I got it when I was really, really little. So maybe it was, and it had an electric knife. I don't remember that blender at all. But I remember those little tiny plugs. And I don't remember real running water.
Yes, Alma, we do have, our slow periods. Our busiest times of the year are between Halloween and New Year's. That is our busiest times. A lot of suicides happen during the holidays. And we are currently, just to kind of give you a gauge, we currently did 2 bio losses this week. And my week, I do work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. So my week starts on a Thursday. So we're already, pretty far in my work week. So we've already done 3. Very long hours. My day starts, I am a late riser, so my day starts at 9 o'clock, and I usually don't end the day till about 2, 3 in the morning. There are times where we have run 24 hours for 2, 3 days straight. and we sleep when we can. I've slept many nights in napped in the truck. My job is brutal, but I do love it. I don't think I've only had like 3 professional jobs my entire life. I'm 45. I started out as a landscaper, and now I do that.
I like to think of all kinds of helpers in our world.
Oh, this is crazy. I remember an electric knife. Lisa H. doesn't
You've got
remember
me
this,
looking.
right?
There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are.
That's not creepy at all, is it?
Oh my gosh.
At
Do you remember?
Slammer, no, I don't get overtime.
Oh my god. Scooter, did you ever see these?
What, my dear?
These.
Wait till they come up. Remember, we're behind.
I never saw these, but I think I would freak out.
Have you
if I-
given up on the book?
No, I know I haven't given up on the book. I told you I'm going crazy tonight.
Uh-oh.
So at Samantha Hill, no, I've never wanted to quit this job. This is my favorite job that I've ever had. And the fact that I'm helping people is what keeps me from leaving. I really, really am married to my job first, and then my husband second.
Oh, no, I've never seen those. That's really neat.
Have you seen
Did
those,
you have
Davida?
them?
What?
Have you seen those?
Patricia Fassett said, are they from Sears?
It's I don't
That
know.
Mr. Rogers?
No. Mini-matic retro miniature doll kitchen appliances.
Do you know?
I have to look.
Oh, if I click on it.
I used to have another thing. It was like this mixer thing. Oh my gosh. I want to know who made that. My sister always said it had something else in, and we didn't. So I know it was my sister's. It was a mixer thing that you clicked. Oh wait, here's mine.
Can you see this, Caroline?
I found it. I think I found it.
Oh, thank God.
I
Oh,
think,
this one, though.
I think I found it. I think it has the electric knife. Hold on.
Sally Ann found it, Carolyn. She's showing you.
Oh wait, I can't see it, but I found one too. What did you find? Hold
I don't know
on.
if that's.
I'll show
She's
you the one I
showing you.
found. Here, is that the one this one here? I think this is the one I had. I don't remember the blender, but here's the electric knife. And I remember it had these little hooks to hang up your utensils.
Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. It's not up there yet.
This is it. I remember the little wires.
Wait for it. That's it.
Yes.
That's just, is that?
I had that one because I remember the little utensils hung there. And I remember
Can
the
you
electric
zoom in on
knife.
it more? Make it larger?
I know I'm trying
It's
to, but
nothing.
every time I click on the picture, it goes away. See, it just goes to this
Yeah.
page, and then okay, where can I find it on this page? They're fakers.
That doesn't look familiar to me at all.
See, I thought this was maybe it, but maybe not then.
This is it. Oh my gosh! And this is my Weeble set. I had this set. I still have the car in the camper somewhere. I don't know where my car is.
Are you going to buy
Can't
it?
see it.
It's not for sale. It's just a,
Okay, Danielle.
nobody else. Oh, remember that Lemon Up shampoo?
See, this is a vintage My Kitchen rare for dolls, Barbie box set. It's in America. £114. What year is it? What else have you got in there? No, see, that hasn't got little plugs or
Do you
anything.
remember Lemon Up shampoo? Anybody?
Not really.
Really?
Yeah.
Was Lemon Up in that like VO5 looking bottle?
It was.
It was like
here.
really yellow.
Yeah, and I think it used to have a lemon on top.
Yeah, I do remember that when I was a kid.
Lemon Up.
1986.
Here, like this one with the lemon on top. Yes. Lemon Up.
I want to see.
Well,
Let me
look. Still
Can't see
available.
it.
It's still available today at the Vermont Country Store. And so
No,
is
I've never
Ginger
heard of
Hair
that.
Smells Terrific. Is available at the Vermont. Oh my gosh, who remembers these stoneware dishes? Everybody had those in the 70s.
Hi, Deborah Vancouverton.
Hi, Deborah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait a
Cheerful,
minute. Those
cheerful.
dishes right there. Oh, my OMG. Let me
What?
show you.
What?
I have that. I have those.
Yes,
Dishes?
Carolyn, those plates, we had them.
Which ones? The
Those
dishes?
ones that you're on with the flowers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody
yes,
had
I
them.
have those
Everybody
too.
had them in the 70s.
I have them.
Yeah, but
You
still have
I
them?
thought,
I still have some in the other room in there, in that cabinet.
Oh my god.
but I thought my dad had got them from one of the local supermarkets where you collected stamps from.
Yeah, probably.
My parents had them too.
Everybody had them.
No, not everybody.
Okay. Most
I
everybody.
didn't.
We
Right.
definitely had them.
Oh my gosh, those pocketbooks. Remember those?
See,
So-
oh, can you see that? Stop,
What?
stop. Go back up a bit.
She
There's
always
there
goes
was
so
a,
fast.
Which one?
She
I know,
always speeds
there-
by.
If you went up a bit, there was a record player
Oh yeah, yeah.
that I had, a little one, and I think it was I
This.
think it was
that's
a jewelry
Zenith.
box, if I remember rightly.
This is a full-size Zenith.
Is this somebody's Pinterest?
Why? No, I just came up. Why?
No, I'm just saying because I hate Pinterest. I can't understand it.
Fabergé Organics. Remember that? The wheat germ and honey? I used to use that.
Look, there it is. There it is. There.
Oh, I have that Poppin' Fresh.
Stereo. I have one
Yeah.
of them.
But that's a big one.
That's a big one. I had a little one like that though. And when you lifted the lid up, it'd play the music. But did we have little records to put on it
We
as well?
called them credenzas.
Cadenzas. It's but I'm sure we used to have like little records that you put on it, and they'd play a different.
Look, here's your
thingy.
doll, Scooter.
Where?
Right here at Dance Arena.
I know where.
Was she
Oh.
shot too?
Yeah, this is the one that was shot in the, look.
You're not to her yet.
There she is.
Is that her?
Yep.
No, we've gone past it. No, there it is. There.
I remember that clock next to
Those
the rose
from
milk.
Christmas
I had that
past.
clock when I was a kid.
That's definitely that dolly.
Is it?
There
Is
she
that her?
is.
That's your doll. It
Definitely,
says
yeah.
1968.
No, I don't think that's her.
It is.
It is.
It is.
It's definitely her. Even the shoes. Look.
100%.
Look at your crime scene photo, Scooter.
You know,
Oh,
Scooter, that does
Drowsy.
look like one of the crime scenes I might have cleaned up. You know, I'm just saying.
Remember Baby Drowsy there?
Yeah.
So again, look, yeah, it's definitely her.
I think Nikki had
Baby
Baby Drowsy.
skates. I remember baby skates.
Oh, I remember those little things down there. Oh my gosh, right there in the walker. You went too fast. The tiny little things. We had those. My kids had. Nikki had them. You passed them.
No, I'm going back. Calm down.
Calm down, calm down.
Where is it? In the
Calm
walker?
down.
What
You
thing
went
in the
way-
walker?
Oh, those.
What thing in the walker?
This
Yellow
is-
popcorn.
Oh, look, that one as well. Remember that?
What's
that
in
little
the
red
walker?
flower as well, yeah. Oh my God.
All right, guys, I
Okay,
think I am
stop.
going to get off of here. Tomorrow is coming very quickly
had
for me.
Okay, well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you, guys.
Deanna.
Yay.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. It was fun, and thank you to everybody in the chat who asked questions and thanked me for doing what I do. And again, everybody who I work with, we do it to help people. So, you know, we're here.
Okay.
But you guys all have a great night.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
Hopefully I'll catch you guys on live tomorrow. Or
Okay.
Carolyn, are you
Okay.
going on at 8:30 in the morning for this refrigerator?
We're gonna go. Yeah, we're going on a refrigerator watch. Absolutely.
All right, well then I will. Well, I'll be on at like 9:15. I need some sleep, but I'll be on at like 9:15.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right, see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.
Okay,
I
bye.
had
Bye.
these.
Bye.
Kathy Zoderay used to
Bye.
get these for me for my birthday. I showed these to you guys last year.
You're
still
getting a
have these.
refrigerator tomorrow?
Yeah, you didn't hear that?
No.
Yeah, we're going to be on refrigerator watch from 8:30
Oh, there
in the morning.
shows up. Doesn't look who shows up now.
Who?
Like a bad penny.
Who?
Mood too.
Oh,
She goes, oh my God, what is that retro site?
I have
Mommy,
this.
really?
See, I showed you guys this. Nobody cared.
We do now.
No, you don't.
Yeah, show us.
I want to see the two little dolls that you went
I want to see the book.
Nikki had those little dolls, and now I want
What
them.
little dolls?
You passed them.
You
I don't
passed
know
them.
which. These? This ones? These?
That's Snoopy. We're still on Snoopy.
Go
These?
slow. Wait, I don't know where you're. Remember, there's a delay. Now they're not even there.
You said something
Somebody
in a
bought 'em.
walker. You said in a
Yes,
walker.
it was two little dolls. One's in a walker.
One's
right
crawling.
Right there.
Yes, yes.
There, there,
Remember
there.
those? Remember them?
These? I
Just-
don't remember these.
Look at them. Look, Scooter. There they are.
Yes. You don't remember those?
I do not.
Oh my gosh, really?
I also don't remember these little kittles in a soda bottle.
How could you not?
I don't remember them. I don't.
Oh my gosh, I don't,
Don't get
remember
upset about
those.
it.
They're gone. It says.
Loses their minds.
Does anybody else remember those?
I had Sweet April. I loved her so much. Oh my gosh, I had this too, and I gave it to the Salvation Army.
Those little dolls, you would wind them up. They'd crawl, or she would walk in that walker. Must have
Were
been
they
Nikki.
made
that
of
had
metal?
them.
Scooter.
Huh?
Were they made of metal?
No, plastic. A hard plastic. They were from the 80s. I know Nikki had them.
This is my favorite thing as a kid. I loved this thing so much. This milk carton thing. And I still have some of my original ones. I think I still had my
I
original
had that
thing.
coaster set. I had that coaster set there.
Yeah, I think I had the original one, and then my other kids got it. And then I think even when Ethan was little, we got it in the truck. They made it a comeback, and there was a funny thing. It said, throw this away or something. Oh my gosh, I had this little phone. I loved this phone. With the operator that came out of the top. I remember this Raggedy Ann stuff, and they also made a toothbrush. That stuff just reminds me of Christmas. 'Cause those were the kinds of things that your aunt would come over and give you.
How much
I
do you love
cannot
me,
believe-
Carolyn?
A lot.
Do you, Bergstrom? That rub it jub Fisher Price thing,
Look-
that was in the bedroom too.
Hang
that
on
I
a minute.
didn't pull out.
Hang on a minute.
Okay, I'll hang on a minute.
Let me just take a picture.
I can't believe all the stuff he threw out of mine.
Yeah, believe me, it
Is this
happened
what
to
you
me
were just
too.
looking at? Oh, where? Right, are you looking?
Oh no,
We
hold
had
on,
that
let me
snow
look. Hold
cone
on. Let me
thing.
pull this
Look.
away.
Carolyn, look at Sally.
I'm going. I'm turning this way.
Look what is it? Oh,
To buy.
Is that it? Where'd you find it? On American eBay? Or is that
The
It is in
kitchen?
America.
what's it
It is
called?
in America. It is. Let me find the number for it. It's in America. At the moment, it's 65. Oh, that's to buy it now. $65. Where do I get the number from?
What is it called? What's it called?
It's called Vintage Ideal Toy Kitchen in
Ideal.
box.
Okay. Oh, I see it.
You see it?
Yeah, so they're calling it Ideal, and the other one was calling it Ilco. Let me see this.
Ideal
It's the
by
same
right.
one, isn't it?
Looks like it, but let me see. Is it? There's an appliance. There's one of
oh,
those
I
other.
remember that, our Huff.
See, they had
Gee,
those
your
other
hair smells
appliances.
terrific. Yes.
Young but never.
Can't see a knife there though.
Whole world spinning.
Yeah, the
There's a-
same.
See, it's
Yeah.
called, now I know it's called the Minimatic Hostess Center. Aha. And see, that's the plug. That's the one I had. I didn't have that
Yeah.
Ilco one. It has the plug right in the drawer.
There you
Yeah.
go.
But I don't remember these other appliances with it. I remember the freaking
Well,
electric knife. So
you're
now I've
slipping
got
a
to
little
look
bit.
for that. That's what it's called. The Minimatic Hostess Center. The Minimatic Hostess Center. All right.
Just have a look, see if there's any
Hostess
more.
Center. Minimatic Hostess Center.
See, I'm
Oh,
good
there
for
it
some
is.
things.
Minimatic Hostess Center. Oh, see, here's one with beautiful vintage. Look at this one. It has the electric knife and the blender and the little
You're
garbage
obsessed with that
can.
electric knife.
What?
You're obsessed.
Well, that's
that
what I remember.
electric
I don't
knife.
remember because it was probably my sister's, and she probably lost half the stuff.
She'd probably chasing her sister around with the knife. I get you, I get you.
And I just remember we had this bar we had a finished basement. There was this big bar, and on the other side, this is where this was. And oh my gosh,
How big is it?
it's very tiny. It's small.
And it has an electric knife.
It's this tiny little, like here's a picture of it. There.
So is that for sale, is it, that you found one?
Yeah, look at it. See?
Wow.
There's the
Still not
electric knife.
come up your hair.
And that's where you
What
plug it in. You'd plug it in right there.
What did the electric
Right, my
knife cut?
crazy life.
Well, it just
That's a cute little kitchen.
I know.
It is, isn't it?
Really?
Is that one for sale?
Yeah, it
It
is for
really is
sale.
cute.
And how much are they asking for that one?
$80.
It's not too bad for vintage.
Wow, that's in good shape.
Yeah. There you go, see?
It's all the little stuff.
So many memories, so little time.
I know, and it just bothers me that I just wish I had thought about this one. Oh my gosh, when I had time to get it.
I hate when I'm
Minnie
seeing more and more of this stuff that was in there in the
Mouse.
bedroom.
I know, I'm seeing it too, so just stop.
Well, let's not get testy.
And Isaiah keeps saying, I didn't throw
Yes,
anything.
Mike Boyce. Okay, let's not go there. Oh my gosh, here's one for $9.99. Oh, now Moo's going to be bidding on this.
She probably is. She probably already has it.
Moo, stop
Well,
it.
she's right in the chat.
Yeah, no wonder she wanted to know the name of the site.
She's thankful you're on at a decent time tonight.
We had a grants too, Karen H.
I used to love grants. I have such good memories of grants.
Do you?
Yeah. And Woolworths.
Do you remember Kresge's?
No. Remember Bullocks?
No.
Bullocks, that means like crap and.
What?
Bullocks?
No,
means-
that's bollocks. She said
No.
bullocks.
Bullocks. Bullocks, I believe. It was a big department store.
Probably went out of business because it sounds too much like the other word.
Oh,
I see you really believe that.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Lisa H. remembers Kresge's, SS Kresge's. And I guess it became Walmart later or something. Owned by the same people.
Did you have Thrifty Drugstore?
We had Thrifty Supermarket.
You still got Woolworths over there?
I don't anymore.
Yeah, we don't.
Poor
No,
me.
They went out years ago here, about 6 years ago.
Oh my
Maybe a
gosh, they
bit
have an
more.
unopened one.
Do you remember Montgomery Ward's?
Oh, yes. Yes.
She's finding them all now, look.
They sold it
Oh,
Oh my gosh. They have one that's never been opened.
Buy it.
Get it.
It's only the one set though. It's only the one little cabinet with the mixer.
All right, don't.
Your mom remembers SS Kresge's too? The one here in Gary, that's where it was. The one we went to.
You're in Gary,
Yeah.
Indiana?
Well, we're close to it.
You're by the Jacksons?
Yes, ma'am. Gary used to be, nice back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Michael
Yeah.
Jackson in concert.
So did
You
I.
did? I didn't.
Right, hang on a minute. I was 18, so 30 years ago in London. I only went with an ex-boyfriend's sister because she was crazy about him and she wasn't allowed to go on her own because she was only 14. So me being 18, no, I would have been about 19, 20. So I offered to take her, and we waited for bloody hours to get into the arena, and then ran across the football stadium, right at the front. I didn't like him at the time. Anyway, I was getting squashed, and people kept saying, "You're right, love." I'm like, no bloody man's worth this. So they took me out of the crowd, put me on the side so I could see everything perfect. And I tell you what, it was the best concert I've ever been to. It's brilliant. Absolutely
I know now,
brilliant.
Marty. Look at my hair. It looks like I'm bald right now. The way it was. I know, I noticed that too.
I keep wanting to think of Wolfman Jack when I look at your sky. I want to howl.
Mary Hildebrandt, you said you're not far from me then, huh?
Who lives in their house now? Does someone live there, or is it just kept as the
Well,
Jackson's home?
last I heard when we went past it years ago, a relative of his was living there. I think an uncle,
Oh my
and I'm not
gosh.
sure if he's still living or what. It's a tiny little house, tiniest little house you've ever seen.
Wow, and they had all those kids.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about this book. Do you remember this book, The Surprise Doll?
Did you buy
No.
that kitchen?
No, I didn't buy it. Look at this. Do you remember that one, The Surprise Doll?
No.
Oh, I remember that one too.
Can't even see it yet.
IGA grocery store. I remember those.
I went and hunted for that kitchen. Now she doesn't want it. Now.
Oh, I have the one I'm watching. I'm watching one of them that's here.
No, I don't know that one.
You don't know it?
Nah.
I do.
Don't forget, I was only born in 1991.
Mm-hmm.
What you laughing at?
Oh, nothing. Something on TV.
Oh my God.
I'm turning the big 50 this year.
Are you really?
Oh, happy birthday.
And you look so young.
No, you're just creeping.
No, I'm not.
Wish I was the big 50
Not
again.
at all. I thought you were no older than maybe 45 at the most.
I feel a lot older at the moment.
Oh, I could go down so many rabbit holes.
So happy to see you, Moo.
Yeah, Moo, come on
I
up.
know.
She's too busy bidding on these things on eBay.
Probably his.
89? You're a baby, Mary.
Mary who is in 89?
Hildebrandt,
Really?
unless she's pulling our leg.
Don't go pulling our leg.
Oh, you got a new deputy rambler. Tracy
Kevin was
Flanagan.
born in 1999.
Tracy.
Thank you, lady.
I tried.
How come I don't see it yet?
You know, my
Well-
stepmom's ex-husband used to tell anybody that would
becoming a new
listen that
deputy
he was like
rambler,
15
Tracy.
years older than what he was. So they go, God, you look good for your age. You know,
You know, I think I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to say I'm 80.
he seriously used to tell people he's 15 years older.
Tracy Flanagan. Welcome,
Yes,
Tracy
welcome.
Flanagan. Now I see it. It was catching up, but I have to go to bed because I have a refrigerator. So we're going to be
That's
doing
what
the
I was
refrigerator
wondering.
watch
You're up
starting
awfully
at.
late.
Scooter's going to come on at 6:30 in the morning.
What?
Keep on
Born
dreaming.
71.
She'll be a happy camper to everybody when she does.
Oh my goodness. But I'm very upset. I really hope that I told Jimmy not, oh my gosh, he has got to call my brother. I know my brother. I said, let's bring it to the lake house because I do not, oh, and he's got to go call
What,
my brother.
the old refrigerator?
This one.
Yeah, but
What's he going to do with it?
Because okay. If you defrost this and take the thermistor and then you let it all go. It'll run for like a number of months. And since we closed that house and we stopped the electric and it's not running all year, this would work fine probably over there. But he's got to go tell my brother something. So my brother's, oh my gosh, can't understand it. My brother's just ridiculous. So yeah, I don't know. Now I showed him something about it. I don't know. We'll see.
So you don't know if the refrigerator's going to the other house.
I don't know. I don't want to, I can't, I feel so bad.
I know you
feel
don't
like
want to lose it.
I feel like it's crying. I hugged it before, Tavita. I hugged it. Jimmy saw me hugging it.
It's leaking. It's not crying.
I was hugging it. It's
Okay,
not
listen.
funny, you guys. I was hugging it.
Okay, listen, just listen. Tell Jimmy
You're so
tomorrow
cute.
that you want that refrigerator down at the other house.
I can't let that. I'm gonna
Put
try
it down in
everything.
that
I'm
basement
just gonna
thing.
talk to it when I get off here. I'm gonna tell it that I'm gonna try everything for it, and because I don't want to do that when the guys are here.
You sure you don't want to do it while we're on a little support?
I love you, refrigerator, and I'm gonna fight for you.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm laughing, but I can understand it.
Yeah. I felt that way about cars before.
Yeah, I know, right? I feel that way about my other van that every time I go out there, I go, I still love you, even though I'm taking the new van, right? Because I said,
Yeah.
I
I
love
always
that
said,
van.
I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
nothing personal.
It's just, yeah, I'll use you. Mike loves you. He uses you for the work van now. He loves you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I have to have a live support, Danielle. Danielle, how did your your dishwasher come through? With the guys and everything. That sounds, I hate people in my house now. I don't know how I'm going to be with these
I
freaking
know.
guys. They're going to be touching everything. I'm going to have to swab everything down.
They'll come in with masks and boots and all that.
Ugh.
They will. They will. They'll have those paper things on their shoes.
Yeah.
But we'll be on. I doubt it, because I always get the guy. Everybody will always say, like, no matter what kind of, like, say it's a medical procedure, say whatever, even before mask, they'll say, oh, here's what they'll do. And then I always go to the people that don't do anything that everyone says they do. Like, they'll go, oh, they'll take you into the
Right.
surgery, and first they'll do this, and first they'll do that, and then you get there, and these people don't do anything the way anybody said. And I'm like, aren't you supposed to do that? And they're like, no, we don't do that here. My friend said they do. No, we don't do that. These guys will come in, I guarantee you, they'll have, like, no mask. Because I think the guy that came in for a dishwasher, Jimmy said he had no mask, no things on their shoes. They'll just be, like, right on everything. Refrigerator will have a big gash in it.
And you'll say, you're going to have to take that back. And they're going to go, sorry, love, we can't take it back out once it's been in the house. It might have COVID.
And you know what the Home Depot told me to do? That once I get it delivered, they're like, well, make sure if there's any other defects and things, and then we're going to give you an additional discount.
Wait a minute. They're already contemplating something being wrong with the new one?
I know, isn't that sad? She goes, we can only do it one time, so let's wait till it's delivered because there could be something wrong.
God help us all if there is something wrong with that refrigerator.
Oh my goodness gracious.
You'd be wondering why she's getting no views next week. We'll all be hiding.
I don't know.
We'll wait until we see the fridge tomorrow morning or in the morning. If it's not good,
I
then
know she's
we
going to
just
look at the
hide.
handles and she'll go, I don't like the handles.
I'll be like,
I don't like the handles.
I'm probably not going to like this shininess.
Come here. I don't like those handles. Come here.
And everybody might be like, oh, everything feels so different with that refrigerator now. It's not the same.
No, even if I thought it, I wouldn't say it. I'm
don't know.
teasing.
Home Depot, yeah, Linda. So I'll do the fridge watch. And then they say 8:30, and I'll be here at 8:30 having my coffee, and it probably won't come till like 11.
Yeah.
Is that 8:30 in the morning or evening?
I can't say my goodbyes, Kevin. Stop. Because I just can't. I can't do it to the refrigerator.
Jimmy will take it down to the other house, I think.
Florida wants
You
to
know
know
what? He
which
almost
one you
cracked a
got.
little bit tonight because I said I sent him something like, and then he goes like this, the refrigerator. And I said, yeah, we should just bring it down there. And he's like, So he normally be like, no. So he get, maybe. So, all right,
Florida
everybody.
Gray Lady wants to know which
Just go give him
The
a big hug.
Samsung, Florida Gray Lady, the Samsung.
And it's coming in the morning.
Yeah.
Finally, Florida.
Fridge Watch 2021. Fridge Gate. Yeah, Tandy.
Wouldn't it be funny, your little one that they gave you guys for free? That mini fridge and freezer?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if you went and took that and put it in the
The other house.
lake house instead of the refrigerator? Could you imagine when they come there? You're like, we got a new fridge for you.
Oh my gosh. Because Jimmy just made it sound so bad, and I knew he would do that. That's why I was trying to tell him, just don't call him about anything like that. Oh my gosh. Anyway, but all right. I'm going to go. God bless. Prayers for all that need. I'll see you guys in like 4 hours.
Bye, everybody.
6 hours.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Bye. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Adios.